All right. Are we going? It says we're live. Well, we'll see. We'll see how we're doing. I think we've got.
It feels like we're live.
I feel like we're live. That's funny. I don't feel tardy. Yeah. So welcome to Live from Tech Alley. We're getting going a little later, but we wanted to make sure we had a fun guest, an interesting guest for you before we started the stream. And so let me get the preliminaries out of the way. We're live from Tech Alley. Tech Alley is the number one tech meetup, tech community meetup, tech ecosystem meetup in Las Vegas. We're here in downtown Las Vegas, the corner of Charleston and Main at Taverna Costera. We're on their beautiful roof deck with a beautiful view in back of us of the Las Vegas Strip in downtown Las Vegas. If you're in Las Vegas today and you're interested in tech, if you're interested in AI, if you're interested in crypto, if you're interested in drones, if you're interested in coding, if you're interested in hardware, if you're interested in any of those things, come on down and see us. Lunch is free and we'll be starting in about an hour here at Tech Alley. So come on down to Taverna Costera and the surroundings and be part of the fun here, learning all about tech and getting to interact with tech entrepreneurs, tech investors, tech nonprofits, people who are just interested in tech here in Las Vegas. So we're going to start with our first guest now that we've got the preliminaries out of the way. We've got James Roop. He's one of the organizers of Tech Alley. He's been involved with it since almost the very beginning. And you are also giving a talk today, right?
Yeah, actually, I'm giving a couple of talks. Tech Alley is now kind of bridged in with Journey NFT Gallery. And so I'll be doing an early talk at Journey from 1:30. And then we're going to carry all the way into 2:45 where my Tech Alley talk starts, and then teach until 4 o'clock. So we're doing a really big 3.5-hour block because a lot of people are starting to show more interest in blockchain. They understand that the technology is emerging and they want to learn how to engage with it safely.
Okay.
And so we're starting to get a lot more people in. So it's really exciting. So I'll be teaching self-custody, wallet production, and private yield and value preservation, because that's really the goal of what's happening here in the blockchain space is how can we store our value for 100 years where nobody can mess with it? And blockchain is starting to manifest itself as the way to do that.
So what are you finding are the things that when people come to you, what are the questions they're asking? What is their interest? And then what are you finding as you educate them a little bit, their interest is becoming after they learn a little more?
Yeah, typically their primary interest is what is it? You know, they've been hearing all over the news. They've been watching Bitcoin. They've heard of all these other networks, and a friend or friends of friends are telling them to do these things, and they want to understand it a little bit deeper.
Okay.
And so I've been in the space for about 9 years, researching Bitcoin, blockchain. I've looked at how these networks treat the money. And I'm going with old school, investors and financiers that say money will gravitate towards where it is treated the best.
Okay.
And so what I've thought is if I could find a blockchain that treats the individual and the money the best, that's probably where we're going to go. Okay. And so I teach people these basic concepts of value preservation, what makes things valuable, and how we can store them for the future. And that typically, satiates their curiosity. And then we go into wallet construction. And then we start building the wallets, and they start to understand the security between the seed phrases and restoring their backup, and then how the wallet works, and then how to actually get those assets. And now they're ready to engage into the blockchain space. They can start to do commerce there. They can start to store value there. They can start to vote because a lot of these chains are starting, or some of these chains are starting to actually have voting protocols and things like that, which allow people to communicate globally, which is really new. We've never been able to do this before.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. I'm excited about taking old technologies or old ways of doing things and building a technology around them that's so secure we're willing to shift our old and tried and true methods that are low risk, because now we have with the right technology, with the right protocols, it can be even lower risk.
Absolutely.
And that's just something we have to educate the world about. But you talked about the chains that'll be successful will be the ones that treat people the best, treat consumers the best. So what are the traits that the chains that treat consumers, that treat people the best, what traits do they have?
They're very direct when the communication is peer-to-peer. So you don't insert middlemen. There's no inflated or changing costs. This frustrates people. And so if I wanted to send you money and it's a Tuesday and it's a busy time on the network and a fee is really high, and I'm like, hey, listen, Jason, can I send you that money tomorrow? Because the gas fees are so high. I just don't want to do it, right? This is not treating the individual well. This is pigeonholing the person into a position where they're going to debate on whether they want to do commerce or exchange. So I find that these things don't treat the individual well. So you want to have finite prices, right? When I communicate, I want to pay one particular fee always to do that communication. I don't want to be
Mhm.
surprised with other fees. You also want to have a fixed asset class. So we want to have an asset class that can't be inflated or deflated, meaning we don't want to be able to print more or burn tokens.
Mhm.
We see this in the American dollar.
Mhm.
And what happened with the American dollar when we can produce more dollars, we devalue the purchasing power.
Mhm.
So if you go into asset classes that have fixed supplies like Bitcoin or Cardano, you'll find the volatilities there, but devaluing your purchasing power over time doesn't exist in this arena.
Mhm.
And people are starting to realize that. And so when I have people that come to me, because I have different demographics of people, some people are curious, they're developers, but some people are retired
Mhm.
and they're trying to preserve their value.
Mhm.
And so they say, okay, well, I need to go in a fixed supply asset class that treats me well, gives me access to all my money and yields a return.
Mhm.
And only certain blockchains actually have these capabilities. And these are the ones that treat people the best. So, I mean, I kind of glossed over them right there, bing, 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 but it really does make a difference. If you have control of your money, it's yielding a return, it's a fixed supply asset class, and the network is growing. This is a magical combo that we haven't seen in history ever, because we've never created a new place to store value. It's always been based off of gold
Mhm.
or the country's dollar or the government. We're doing something different, not connected to any government, not connected to any manipulation.
Mhm.
And that's why it's so exciting.
It
That's
is.
why
It's
we're
very
getting, yeah, it's
exciting.
a really cool
It's
time.
very exciting. So,
Yeah.
what are, especially for folks who may not be comfortable with technology, some of the older folks, or some of the folks who are just kind of new to it, what are kind of some of the first things you tell them about this? How do you ease them in without getting too deep into the jargon, without overwhelming them
Yeah.
with all of the things that come along with this?
Yeah, and you're right, because it is an overwhelming thing. The information that a lot of people are taking in, and the curiosity that starts is, you know, why am I struggling? Why am I not able to purchase as much money? So they come in with that question. And so when you start to solve the inflation issue in their mind, when you start to explain value
Mhm.
and what makes something value and what keeps something valuable, then all of a sudden a light goes off in their head and they're saying, okay, this is interesting, this is what I need.
Mhm.
So I hope I answered your question, but that's really what they're looking for, is the solution to why they're feeling the way they're feeling right now when it comes to finance and money and value. Blockchain is that arena where we can actually pivot them and say, look, you've been doing it this way since you were born, your mom did it this way, your dad did it this way, everybody you know did it this way, but technology is now giving you an opportunity to look into something different. And it is a little complicated, but I always talk to people about this too. How hard is it for you to get out your ATM card, go to the machine? You got to type in all these pins. You have to look at the screens. It's actually a process, and it's not as easy as you think. It's just what you're used to. And blockchain isn't any more complicated than that, but it is a new process that we have to get used to. So I try to ease people in with basic concepts of, this is going to protect your value. This is going to protect your voice, your vote for the future world that's emerging, which is an all digital world. And that usually helps them kind of calm down a little bit. And then we start walking through the basic processes and security, and then they line right up, and all of a sudden we've got new people ready to enter this space.
Yeah, one of the things that's been great about the United States is, for a couple of hundred years now, our system has been so stable, and we've had such confidence in our stable. Most people haven't had to have a conversation about how money really works,
Right.
how value really works, and how trust is a part of that.
Yeah.
And so now it's great because we're getting to have that conversation with a whole new generation of people, right? Not just in business schools where we have conversations about how money really works,
Right.
but everyday people are getting the opportunity to have that conversation about how money really works again. And that's what blockchain is giving us, giving people a chance to understand that and make their own choices.
Right.
So, but trust is such a key component of that.
Right.
And people are probably still getting caught up on, Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the idea is about 20 years old now, and the implementation is about 15 years old now. And people, I think, are just getting caught up on the beginnings, right? They're hearing about, so what's changed since Bitcoin came on the scene as an actual chain, and how have different chains, different providers, how have they built trust over the years?
Yeah, and I think that is one of the key important things, is trust. Right now, the systems that we have, everything is siloed, and so there's less trust. And so this is why, the networks are starting to proliferate, because you don't need trust in these networks. But one of the things to understand is that these networks provide transparency. They provide the ability for people to communicate peerlessly. And so when you couple those things with money, all of a sudden you have a new freedom that we really haven't seen before. And so the big curiosity is for people to really just understand how money works. And nobody really understood that until recently. Data came out and started to reveal things. You know, 20, 30 years ago, they weren't really using charts as much as they are now. Now, charting data, calculating data, public data is everywhere. It wasn't like that 20, 30, 40 years ago. And it was more news-based, it was more emotion. Now it's highly technical. And so it's easier for people to see the truth in money. And so that's why we're having the conversation now. That's why we didn't have it before. We didn't have the knowledge to lay out the data and say, wait a minute, this doesn't seem to work to my benefit. Why am I doing it this way? And that's really how we can get things going, is all that information.
Well, and there was also nothing to compare it to.
Nothing
right?
to
There was, you had the US dollar and you had foreign currency, and they all kind of worked the same way for the most part,
over and over
with a couple of exceptions of countries that kind of fixed their currency, you know,
well,
instead of letting it be
control,
instead of letting it be a free market on their currency. So you didn't have any alternative. Now we have alternatives. We can test out, and we can watch all of the different monetary theories that academics have come forth with and over the last 100 years, and we can see them all
lining up and
compare them to each other.
See how they fail, see how what troubles we have. And what we're realizing is, with all of those monetary systems, now that we have so much more data, we really can do concrete comparisons. And you know, when you have the infrastructure of a bank, and you have the employees, and you have the retirement, and you have the sick pay, these are costs that constantly bleed the bank's profits. And so they have to keep charging to keep their infrastructure going. Blockchain's not like that. There are no employees. There are individuals that are incentivized to keep the network going. And so we have this symbiotic relationship for the first time in communication. We've never had that. There have always been gatekeepers. And so now we have an open, honest communication grid, and money's being stored there. You know, digital identities will soon be there. Medical records will soon be there. As we expand the use case of blockchain, we're going to see the whole world change, and it's going to accelerate faster than we've ever seen, because now we have AI. Now we have a lot of things that can accelerate this use. And one of the big things that you mentioned earlier was like, what's changed? The biggest thing that's changed, I remember when I first bought my first Bitcoin, you know what it took? I had to write a letter. I had to go to my bank, set up an escrow account, send a letter to China. It took 15 days. After 15 days, if I was lucky, they submitted the Bitcoin into the escrow account that I had established. So it was a 15 to 30 day process to accumulate a Bitcoin. What's changed? Now every single person can pick up their phone, get an app, and have Bitcoin in their phone within a minute.
It's minutes.
And so this has changed substantially. So onboarding has changed. So why was it difficult to get people on before? Well, there weren't any onboarding ramps. Now we have tons. They're everywhere. PayPal, Cash Apps, Coinbase, Binance, Gemini, Kraken. They're all there, and they're all onboarding people constantly. I think there was, what was it, 200 billion just moved into Bitcoin over the past 10 months. So Bitcoin grew faster than any asset class in human history as far as the ETF is concerned. There was a graph that showed gold, and it took gold 8 years to accumulate the value that Bitcoin accumulated in 1 year. So that should tell you something about where money is migrating. And all of the smart people in business, VCs, and the individuals that are keen on this, they're saying, you follow the money. And right now we can see $900 trillion is starting to migrate out of our current ecosystem, riddled with monopolistic attitudes and infrastructure costs, and they're migrating that value into a streamlined global free communication line, which is cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. Bitcoin for value preservation, probably Ethereum for a lot of commerce, and then Cardano, the way I see it, will be like a global voting, value preservation environment for more utility, where you would keep your money at home. And if you want to play, you know, you take your cash out, right? And then you go play at Disneyland. Well, I think Ethereum is going to be more like a business VC environment, because there's no fixed supply in Ethereum, which means eventually they could decide to print it down.
You can make the pie bigger, which is what a lot of business people, the first thing we teach, like literally the first class in business school is always accounting. And they always talk about, in business, you're trying to make the pie bigger. You're trying to get past a fixed supply of money, right? You're trying to generate more value. So I want to go back for a minute, because you talked about there are incentives that incentivize, poor sentence, but I'm going to say it that way anyway. Incentives that incentivize people to help maintain the network, to be good actors, to be fair players in the network. And these incentives must be working, because people who have a lot of money and are doing things that require a lot of trust and validation and verification are moving both their money and their business processes into blockchain.
100%.
So what are some of the incentives that get people to help manage the blockchains and be good actors and fair players? Because I think the idea here is we want to move to a feeling of trust with all of these. We want the general public to feel like they can trust these things. People who have lots of money and high stakes trust them. What are the incentives for the regular folks who are managing and helping maintain these networks to be good actors?
I think the incentives are to manage these networks and to mine or to validate transactions is the payout from the network. It's autonomous. So if you participate in the network and you provide a value to the network, the network will reward you. And so I call this a symbiotic relationship because we don't see symbiosis in our current economy. It's very top down, and as far as value goes, it's bottom up, right? All the values, collected from the bottom and then funneled up to the top. Well, in blockchain, effort yields reward. And so you're motivated to run servers or to validate if you have the means and the ability. And then what you do is you create a gateway for everybody else to participate. So the way my lifestyle works when I run my servers is I erect servers that communicate with the blockchain network and will validate. But that's half of the component. I need value from others to synergize my nodes to validate more. And so instead of having one company, one person take complete control of validation, which is non-symbiotic, certain networks have broken it up. And so groups have to coordinate, and then they're all rewarded equally. And this is the symbiosis of these new networks. And that's why they keep proliferating, because it's like owning stock in a bank, and you're getting dividends from everything that bank produces. And that disappeared. Banks are privately owned companies. They have shareholders and they all get dividends from all those transactions. We don't hear about it anymore, but that is the structure. And the problem is it's a fixed group. And so these guys are making money off of all of our transactions globally, and it's a small group of people, and these are the really wealthy people. Well, in a decentralized environment, anybody can link into the infrastructure and start producing value and take their share of that value. This is the future, where we don't have any top-down control and we don't have any bottom-up value sent to the top. It's all evenly distributed based off of the efforts of the individuals. It's revolutionary.
Yeah.
It really is.
So going back to the idea of trying to build trust in these networks, the decentralized nature of it, you would think would be chaotic and would make it less secure. But that's not true, right? So,
No,
so tell us why the decentralized nature, which is very egalitarian, takes it out of the hands of the banks. Tell us why that also makes it more secure.
It's well known over software that open source software is far more secure than closed software. Because you have more eyes on it, you have more individuals that are poking at it and finding vulnerabilities and fixing it. And so let's say you had 1 million people that were putting their value into a network, and then let's say 1,000 were high-end developers. Well, if that 1,000 out of that million have their money in there, they're going to be looking at the code all the time. They're going to be searching for vulnerabilities. Why? To protect their value. But in essence, that transfers to the entire group. Everybody's value gets protected because of the efforts of all the individuals using it. And so open source software has always proven to be far more secure than closed network software.
And there's also, because of the nature of the nodes, right? And where information is stored and how information is stored in multiple places. Tell me if I'm getting this right or getting this wrong. This is my understanding. Let's use Bitcoin as an example, right? There's a number of servers all over the world that all have copies of the blockchain. And if any one person tries to go back and change one of those entries, all the other servers say, that doesn't match with what I remember.
Correct.
So that kind of provides some checks and balances against bad actors who are trying to go in and take advantage of the decentralized nature. Right?
And that's exactly how it works. It's just a ledger validation. Everybody has the same ledger. And if you have the rights to change the ledger, the rights will allow that data to proliferate through the network and then become the new information. But if you don't have the right, the data is simply rejected and it doesn't fit into the piece. And so it really is a very unique environment where it becomes very difficult to change anything without the proper authority. And I think this has been the biggest problem with all of our data. All of our data has been siloed in environments, and all you had to do was have one hacker get in and they'd have access to 20 million people or 20,000 people, depending on what the database was. And now it doesn't matter. All of that can be wide open, spread out, And now you have to crack every individual one at a time. There's no more siloed environments, or at least that's what we're trying to produce. No more siloed environments of data. And once that happens, now an individual to compromise the information, they have to compromise each individual to do it. And so it makes things a lot more secure.
And not only do they have to compromise each individual to do that, they have to do that in seconds or minutes.
And
they can't take hours or days to do it because
once
because the network is faster than any human saying, hey, this doesn't match, right?
So they could keep sending in all this data, and if it doesn't fit, it just keeps getting rejected.
Yep.
It doesn't slow the network, it doesn't spam the network, it doesn't break the network, it just rejects. And so, it's funny because when you really understand how this works, you ask yourself, why haven't we been doing this sooner? This is really a much better way. But you have to understand, we didn't have the sophisticated supercomputers in our pockets.
We didn't have the ability to do this.
Right. And so now, just like when we first invented cars, they had these wheels and there was no storage, and now we have SUVs. Now that we have the car, we're like, hey, look what else we can do with it. And that's what we're going to start to see with blockchain and Bitcoin. We have the technology and it's not being utilized completely, but they're starting to.
Yeah. So take us on that walk, right? Because I think just about everybody's heard about money. Blockchain is about money, and you can do transactions and all the things we just talked about with those transactions. They can be secure and they don't have to go through a middleman, and we all get to keep more of our own money. Right. Take us on a walk where you see things going. You talked about voting a little bit. If you're following blockchain at all, people are doing contracts on blockchain. Sure. Take us on a walk of what the realm of the possible is, and what are you really excited about to be able to do on blockchain in the next 18 to 24 months, and then like on a 10-year frame?
Yeah. Gosh, it's a whole new world that we're walking into now, and it's accelerated by, biomechanics, AI, blockchain. And so I think it's going to be radically different. I think you will be known wherever you go. I think your access, the way you access things in the world will be far different. It won't be passwords. You're going to have some sort of token or some sort of value, and that token can be linked to multiple different tokens that prove your identity that have been vetted from other sources. Like, let's say UNLV. UNLV knows you went to school, they issued you your graduation certificate. Right. That graduation certificate can serve as a portion of your identity.
Right.
And then your movements throughout the day could actually serve as a portion of your identity. And so I see the technology converging on a way that just allows us to seamlessly move through our environment with all the bottlenecks that our current computer systems cause, with logging into passwords or resetting a password or how to do that. It's all going to be controlled by you, and everything will always work. And so it's going to make the world a really interesting place where we can just do more quicker and get rid of a lot of the friction that we see in communication and commerce and the economy.
Cool. So we talked a lot about identity. We talked about tokens and things being out on servers. I think some people watching might be saying, what does this mean for my privacy, my right to be forgotten, those kinds of things? Tell us how the blockchains, what are some of the methods that people are using to address some of the privacy concerns?
I think if we were going to focus on privacy, we would really keenly look at a network called Cardano.
Okay.
Because Cardano is working on a global standard, a DID standard that's accepted worldwide. And this standard allows you to create an identity token, store data on it, whether it be medical, history, your bio, whatever. And you can actually sign to choose which data is released. And so you can do anonymous transactions. You can do a transaction with your doctor and say, hey, I'm going to give you my medical record for 24 hours. You can review it, and then it'll kick back to you. And so instead of having your data just out there, you're going to be able to control what gets out there and when. And so privacy is going to be a big component, and certain networks are working really hard on that. And I think Cardano is probably one to watch because they've come up with a voting protocol. So now people will be able to vote, and it will be public. You can see your vote and you can count it with all the other votes, and every single individual can prove that their vote is there, and you won't be able to have any fake voting.
But the way they're setting it up is also nobody else will be able to see how you voted.
Voting polls should be open.
Yep.
Yeah, and you should have the choice to whether you want to say, I want to make my vote known or I want to make my vote anonymous.
Yep.
But I believe polls, as far as the tallies are concerned, we won't know the individual.
Absolutely right. Yeah.
But voting polls will and should be open. And I think one of the biggest bottlenecks we have, because we have voting right now, is digital identity. You can't have voting without identity. And so once identity starts to hit the surface, you're going to see voting emerge very, very rapidly, because we can actually prove who voted and when, if need be. Whereas right now,
Right.
gosh, the way they do it is so archaic, right?
It's all paper really still.
It's-
So
it's
which,
very-
so that's just what I want to emphasize is people are thinking about these things.
They
They're
are,
not,
yeah.
they're not just, gas pedal down all the way forward going, we'll figure it out when we get there. People are thinking through the privacy concerns, the anonymity concerns. Sometimes we don't want people knowing everything we're doing, but we still want to do things online. So I'm glad people are thinking about that. And yeah, we're gonna figure it out like most things.
It's a brave new world.
So what can people expect in your talks coming up later today?
Basically, today I'm going to be talking about money theory, value preservation, and we're going to pose the question: how do you store value for 100 years without it disappearing? Because right now there has not been any one place somebody could have stored, let's say, $1 million for 100 years without it having to have moved locations or shift to somewhere else. And we're starting to look at blockchain as that potential place to store value. So right now I see your time, my time is finite. We live on this earth for only so many hours, and one day we'll die. And so really our time is our most precious asset. And if we exchange our time for money, we don't want that asset to be devalued. That's quite literally stealing our life. It's stealing our time. And so the big question is how do we start to store our value, our effort, our money in a place where not only it's safe from prying hands, but will grow over time? And that's what we're going to be teaching today. We're going to be teaching self-custody of your digital assets with fixed supply blockchains that are growing.
Well, the possibilities are limitless. I'm excited to hear what you're talking about. It's always a pleasure to talk with you. Is there anything else you're excited about happening to Tech Alley today?
We just started the POAP. So proof of attendance token. So
I love POAPs. I use them for my courses.
Oh, very cool. Yeah. So what we're doing is we got Tech Alley to get a POAP going. It's a proof of attendance token on blockchain.
Yeah. Explain real quick what a POAP is.
POAP is POAP, and it's proof of attendance token. It's basically a token that's minted on blockchain, and an individual can get it in lieu of attendance to prove that they were somewhere, and they're unforgeable, uncorruptible, unduplicatable. And so people are able to collect these over time. And right now we're just kind of playing with it at Tech Alley, but eventually we're hoping that we could use the token as some sort of discount or access to the website, videos like this, informational videos, or maybe even discounts on t-shirts.
I use them as proof that people attended one of my courses. They get it at the end of the course, not when they sign up.
Exactly. And I think our biggest issue is food, right? We have free food for everybody, and we found that people were coming in not a part of Tech Alley, and they were consuming the food. And so the POAP token was our solution. So when they go up to get food, they show their POAP token, and now we know we're keeping our group fed, right? And so these are solutions that anybody can use, restaurants, sandwich shops, stuff like that. They just have to discover it. And it's really exciting. So yeah.
Well, I'm going to have to go. I guess there's probably a QR code to scan to get your POAP.
Josh has got it.
So if you want to get is this the very first one?
It is.
If you want to get the very first Tech Alley POAP, come on down. Taverna Costera, Charleston and Maine, here in downtown Las Vegas. It's a beautiful day. The wind has finally died down. It's going to be gorgeous down here today, but you got to come down if you want to get that POAP. And I guess if you want to eat, you got to show them the POAP.
That's right.
So I'm gonna go get mine right now.
I got mine already.
All right.
Hey, Jason, thank you so much.
Well, thanks for joining us today. If you see Josh, send him up. I want to catch up with him because we haven't seen him on the stream in a while. So
okay, we'll do. I'll send him up.
Thanks so much.
All right.
Good luck today.
Thank you.
All right, well, that was James Roop. He's doing 2 talks today. He gets more and more ambitious every time we come down to Tech Alley. So, yes, you've got to get down to Tech Alley if you're in Las Vegas, or if you're not in Las Vegas, but you're going to be here in the 3rd Saturday of every month in the future. Come on down, whether you're interested in tech, whether that's AI, whether that's crypto, POAPs, drones, hardware development, software coding development, entrepreneurship, investing. Come on down to Tech Alley. We are going to take a little break here, so you're going to see a blank screen for a little while, but we will be back. So hang out, and I am gonna muted here. All right, we are back. We are back with a good friend of ours. We are back with Martin, and we want to get all the updates on his startup. I think you were here with us last month or maybe 2 months ago. So
last month.
So we're still doing Gulp It Out, huh?
Absolutely.
So tell us all about it.
Gulp It Out. Well, Gulp It Out is a peer-to-peer knowledge sharing platform where we're focused on self-introduction videos. Like, to me, that's the best way to connect with others, is to learn who they are right away without cutting through all the nonsense that people don't want to, right? They don't want to like read a long bio, even a short bio. They don't want to read it. They just want to look in somebody's eyes, like read their body language to see if that's somebody they want to connect with. And so that's what that's the basics, the core base of my platform. And since we last spoke, I came up with how to deploy that.
Okay,
Because,
that is new.
so it is new, because it's not easy, you know. Like, people do understand, like, oh yeah, okay, self-introductions, but how is that going to help them, and how is that going to help with what they're trying to pursue?
So let's talk a little bit about how this started out
Okay.
and then what it evolved into, right? Because this started out not terribly different, but you had a different vision when you started a few years ago with this.
Yes,
You
absolutely.
need to keep this closer to you, though.
Yes. It started off as more like a B2C, more like a social thing, where like you could find others in a community of like-minded people who are there to help share knowledge. Because I guess the core of why I'm developing and building Gulp It Out is I want to democratize how we share knowledge, and I want to decentralize how we view expertise.
Right.
You know, because then a lot of our old traditional ways, how we acquire knowledge and how we view expertise, I feel like there's a there's sort of like a how would I say it? It's not streamlined. You know, there's I feel like there's blockers.
It's still very much, if you want to learn something, you have to go to an institution. You have to go to somebody who's established to learn something from. If you want to teach people things, it is very, I don't want to say it's hard, but like it's very easy to go set up a website, to go set up a course, to go do all that stuff. But to get people to know that you have knowledge that you want to share, whether that is for a price or for free, you have to rise above all the other noise out on the internet to do that, right?
Agreed.
And so what Gulp It Out initially intended to do was to help link these people up, people who had knowledge and people who were looking for knowledge. And it was a way to link these people up without having to go through middlemen.
Absolutely. A non-traditional way, more straightforward. And how we do it in real life is like we introduce ourselves to others, just like here at Tech Alley, right? In Tech Alley, we're here to network. A lot of people are here to meet other like-minded people to see if they could acquire knowledge and exchange ideas. And I want to, and I'm streamlining that on my platform. And how we do that is through personalized self-introduction videos, 30 to 60 seconds long. You just introduce who you are, what you're about, what you're trying to accomplish. Then people in the platform will be able to search and watch your intro video. It's a combination. It's like LinkedIn and TikTok had a baby, right? So instead of like a still image and like a bio and like a resume where people have to read, people could just immediately start watching watch an intro video of who you are, what you're about. And if they like you, if they're interested, if they catch a vibe, I'll be able to link you up just like a FaceTime, and you could have a conversation right then and there without any of these blockers or to that kind of deny you to, get in touch with somebody.
Now, when I go record my intro video, which I still need to do, I'm a little behind on that, helping Martin out with this, but I need to do that. When I go do that, do I need to go tag that video about what I'm all about? Does the platform understand what my video is saying, and is that how it matches people up? What's going on? A little bit of the nuts and bolts of how you match people.
Absolutely. Well, that is all
because we're at Tech Alley, so let's talk about some tech.
Okay, sounds great. Great question. That's all evolving and refining right now. I'm getting people to understand the value of introduction videos. So I'm just getting people interested in creating an intro video, but then the matching is evolving. So yes, you'll be able to tag your interests where people could search and discover who you are. For like you, Jason, you'd be able to put entrepreneur, veteran, business owner, whatever,
Internet
right?
blowhard.
Right. Tech out, all of that. You'll be able to like have your own personal hashtags, and so people would be able to just discover you through that search, right? If they type in Las Vegas veteran entrepreneur tech, and then you would be part of a feed of people who that fit your profile, and they'll be able to watch different intro videos like yourself and others.
And that's the TikTok like part of it, right?
That is the TikTok
is you just
part
get
of
a
it.
feed and you watch the video, you can scroll
You
to
could
the
just
next
keep
one,
scrolling and
scroll to the
learning
next
new
one.
people, discover who they are by just watching them introduce themselves until you feel like, oh, this is a person I really want to collaborate with, or I have a question that this person may have an answer to, and I want clarity right away.
All right. So before we tell people how to get there and make their intro videos, what makes a really great intro video on your platform?
Simple, actually, is just be personable and share a quick story of who you are and what you're about and what you're trying to accomplish or how you want to help others. It's pretty much you're just sharing your personal self, because then through that, authenticity and your genuineness comes out, and I feel like that's what people want. They want to know who you are first before they want to be invested in what you're trying to sell.
Okay.
Right?
So who have you got on the platform right now? I know you've got a bunch of people who've done intro videos on the platform. So who have you got right now? What kinds of folks? We don't need to get into names. We can if you want. But.
Just early adopters. So right now, obviously some family and friends, and just early adopters who are currently not shy, who want to share who they are to the community and provide value and tell them like, oh, this is who I am, this is what I do. If you're looking for this, I can help you do that. And so right now it's just people who are not shy right now.
Awesome. And I don't think we talked about it last time you were on. You come from a photography background, but you're also a veteran.
I am.
So tell us a little about how your experience in the military and as a veteran led you down this path to creating this platform.
Oh, okay. Perfect. Yes, I was in the U.S. Navy as a naval combat photographer from 1998 to 2004, and I learned so much. That was definitely a growth experience for me, and I learned so much, not only what I'm capable of, but also learned like how to value others and how putting myself out there and helping others will help me back. So through that, it kind of shaped like my focus in wanting to do more of that, and how I could do more of that, how I could give back more was to be like my own to have my own business, because then I could prioritize a certain time and effort into helping others if I had my own, if I could control that. So as a combat photographer, I loved it so much. I continued to do that professionally after getting out of the military. Been doing it for over 20 plus years now. It's been my passion forever. And through all those experiences, it helped create a new passion. And that new passion is creating Gulp It Out. I could see how I could give back more by...
Yeah. One thing about the military, if you've never been in, there's no shortage of people who are willing to come to you and say, listen, youngster, you're doing that. There's a better way you could be doing that. And I think that's some of the genesis here, right? So you have something you want to talk about here. Let's hold that flyer up. Hold it up for the camera there.
Something quick. So
Sophia, would you hold this up right in front of the camera?
Yes.
Let's get that real close to the camera, right in front. Closer. Stop.
Nice. So this is Dr. Sanchez, who's my dentist. He does free dental work for veterans during Veterans Day. So any veterans who need some dental work, please jot that information down, and he'll give you free dental work on Veterans Day on November 8th.
Yeah, so get your dental work done. I know as a veteran, sometimes it's hard dealing with the VA.
Yes.
Sometimes it's hard dealing with TRICARE. Not everyone has all the benefits coming out of the VA and that kind of stuff. So if you're in need of some dental work,
Yes.
or at least someone to look. If it's been a couple of years since anyone looked in
Right.
there, go. What was his name again?
Dr. Sanchez.
Yeah, go see
Dr.
Dr.
Douglas
Sanchez if you're in Las
Sanchez.
Vegas, and like don't let your dental health suffer. There's no excuse not to go down there. So read off the address for us again.
Yeah, the address is going to be at 8940 West Tropicana Avenue. And if you want to give them a call, it's 702-248-4448, Dr. Douglas Sanchez. And he's giving free dental work from fillings to extractions to just cleanings if you just want,
Yep.
to all veterans interested.
Yeah, don't let your dental health suffer. I know sometimes it's hard to put it in your schedule. It's hard to just if you haven't had anyone poking around in there in a couple years, go see Dr. Sanchez. So,
Absolutely.
So that's fantastic. I love to see the community doing stuff for veterans and just trying to make it easier for them. I love seeing that. So we met. You were still building your minimum viable prototype (MVP)
Yes.
for your company when you and I met a couple of years ago. Now
Yep.
you're here. Now you've got an active on the internet platform. That's really exciting that you're at that point. What's exciting coming up for Gulp It Out, for
So-
you and for Gulp It Out?
So there's been a lot of pivots with Gulp It Out.
As there should be
As
in
there
any
should
tech
be.
startup.
Absolutely. So what I have currently coming up is I'm focused on a new vertical with the main core of what Gulp It Out is, which is the personalized self-introduction videos and immediate one-on-one communication.
Mhm.
Right, that's the core of it. And how I see that as a new vertical, since we live in Las Vegas and Las Vegas is an event town,
Mhm.
I see this as being a pre-event networking tool.
Okay.
So how I'm going to deploy Gulp It Out is for events like Tech Alley, right?
Mhm.
You'd be able, like attendees, organizers, and vendors would be able to create an introduction video prior to the event starting,
Mhm.
and then people, like attendees, would be able to go to that link and start learning who are the attendees, organizers, or vendors are
Mhm.
prior to attending the event. So when they do attend the event live, they already know you. So like, let's say we didn't know each other.
I can be like, hey,
Hey, Jason,
I
know-
recognize you.
I know you. I liked your intro video. Let's connect because I already know what you're about.
Yeah.
So it's more intentional.
Which is one of the most frustrating things about events, especially if you're going to an event by yourself, is you don't know
You don't
anybody
know
there,
anyone.
and now it's like, oh, I gotta, like, even like I'm an extreme extrovert, and even I have to be like, okay, I gotta go talk to some of these people. I gotta jump in, but if you already know some faces and names, that's great. Is
Right.
that ready to go now?
No, that's actually we are me. Sonny Clark is my CTO, and that's what we're currently developing. We are developing it to be more as an event like we're deploying it first as an event
Mhm.
as an event platform, but
Mhm.
then the verticals from that core experience that I was talking about.
Mhm.
There's so much. It could be. There's so much.
Well, I think there's incredible room, and we need to get you connected up with Dave Berlin. But I think even with what you've got now for Gulp It Out on the platform right now, there's probably a great way we can incorporate your features that you can do now with Global Entrepreneurship Week coming up in about a month. So Global Entrepreneurship Week is the week before Thanksgiving. It's all over the world, but it's also here in Las Vegas. There's going to be all kinds of events. So let's get you connected up with Dave and see, get a maybe we can get a little demo and put our heads together and see how Gulp It Out can be a key part of helping people get ready for Global Entrepreneurship Week.
100%. That's another reason why I'm here, because I'm gonna speak to Josh Levitt to see if this could be also a thing for Tech Alley. So for the next Tech Alley, maybe future attendees, they could get to learn who they are already prior to
Yeah.
attending the next.
How
Tech
great
Alley.
would it be before every Tech Alley to get every
already know.
speaker to give the 30 seconds of, I'm going to be at Tech Alley this
is what
Saturday.
I'm
This is what I'm going to be
doing."
talking about. This is why you want to come by, and we'll see you
Absolutely.
there. Right? That's simple.
100%.
That's simple,
Simple.
guys.
Super simple.
That's simple. So, all right, tell everybody where they can find Gulp It Out and where they can find you.
Yes, you could find you could actually create your own personalized introduction video at beta.gulpitout gulpitout.com. So it's beta.gulpitout.com, and you could find me on socials at msf.captures, which is like my photography page, but that's where I'm more active because photography is my is my day job.
And you can also find him at Tech Alley just about every month on the third Saturday of every month down
Absolutely.
here in downtown Las Vegas at Taverna Costera. Lunch
Or-
is going to be
yep,
starting soon. If you're in Las
absolutely.
Vegas, get on down here, get signed in. You need to be signed in to get lunch, so don't just kind of sneak in and try to grab some lunch. That's new this month. So if you've been here before and you're saying, Jason, you don't know what you're talking about, I'm telling you it's new. So, but come on down to Tech Alley. And if you're not in Las Vegas today and you're going to be here the third Saturday of the month in the future, or you're thinking about coming to Las Vegas, come on out for the third Saturday of the month. Come down, get all the stuff on developing apps, developing hardware, drones, crypto, AI. Come on down to Tech Alley, Martin. It's always great to see you.
Pleasure.
We will
Thank
see you at
Jason.
Tech Alley in the future, and we will see you
Absolutely.
at all the startup events coming up.
Absolutely.
All
I
right.
appreciate you, Jason. Thank
Have a
you.
great
Thanks,
day.
guys. Bye-bye. You too.
Yeah, so we're back with Josh Levitt, the genius behind Tech Alley,
I don't know about
the
genius.
visionary behind Tech Alley. We've had him on before. We've done some other podcast episodes with him. It's always great to have you back, Josh. We are through the morning
Yeah.
of Tech Alley, so some new things going on this month at Tech Alley. Tell us a little about the new things. James was already up here telling us a little bit about POAPs,
Yeah.
but yeah, tell us what's new at Tech Alley this month.
So yeah, you're right. It's going by fast.
Right
We got
now.
here at 8 o'clock
Yeah.
because there was we're part of Startup Week, and so we decided to host a early morning like networking, coffee, and breathwork session, just to
Oh,
kind of get
very
everybody
nice.
sort of engaged. So yeah, local business here provided that, and
Is that going to be a regular thing?
No,
The
I don't
morning
think so.
breathwork thing?
I don't think so.
Okay.
8 o'clock's a little early for me as well, but we thought, in the spirit of Startup Week and bringing new folks into,
Yeah.
the space, let's try something different. So yeah, it was. I mean, this morning was amazing, nice and cool, and
Beautiful.
oh yeah, and I don't know if it was the breathwork, person doing the job, but man, there were birds flying around when they were doing. Yeah, so it was a really neat sight to see. But yeah, Tech Alley this month, I think we're trying a few things. Number one, I updated the Tech Alley website,
Okay.
and the reason why, what I did, and the goal is I recognize that Tech Alley is unstructured in a way, right? You come here, it's a community event, you meet people, you network, you listen to the people that are organizing these meetups, the hosts, but then you go on your way, and then
Yeah.
you come back next month. So my question was how can we continue those conversations and
Yeah.
continue those connections,
Absolutely.
and increase some structure to helping people get from idea to market, or from
Okay.
introducing themselves into a career, or a technology into a career,
Mm-hmm.
and just kind of keep the conversation going. So yeah, we put together a new site that has the groups, and
Mhm.
the organizers are the administrators of those groups, and we got discounts for folks. We have
Over $1 million worth of discounts
million
on the
worth,
Tech
yeah,
Alley
yeah.
website.
and people use it. I actually get an email whenever it says, "Hey, somebody signed up for this thing." I go, "Oh, that's
Awesome.
cool,
Fantastic.
I hope they used it well." And it's all it's all free. And then we're partnering with Kurt and his
Mhm.
Fusion 42
Oh, yeah.
to help people that have those ideas to get to that next level, if it's market, or so on. And we're trying to figure out ways to track, because I want to make sure that we're making some sort of impact. And we're also looking at doing some business association parts to it, to make sure people have access to certain resources, or discounts, or something. Again, how do I go from, if I have an idea, or if I just have in a business, how do I stabilize it? How do I scale it? What do I use if I don't even know what I need to use yet?
Yeah. How do we get beyond an event where people come and have a great time and get to know each other?
Right.
And how do we get to where we're making an impact on people's businesses? We're making an impact on the ecosystem here, and growing the ecosystem and making the pie bigger for everybody.
And you know what, I tell you this, what I love about running a nonprofit, and Tech Alley is a 501c3,
Mm-hmm.
is that I don't have to go to shareholders and say, "Hey, everybody, look how much money we made."
Yeah.
I go to my board and I say, "Look at the impact we made.
Mhm.
Look at the cool things that we were able to do." And what that means is we have the opportunity to do things that either haven't been done, or try to push the community into a certain direction by
Mhm.
introducing new ideas to it. Again, even if the payoff isn't financial, which none of it is, but it's simply to say we're bettering the community, or we're helping out the folks that participate. And so I always challenge folks, they come up with something different that we can try. And this month, and I think moving forward, we're gotten to the POAP
Mm-hmm.
idea.
Yeah.
And for those who don't know what POAP means, that stands for Proof of Attendance Protocol, and it sits on Web3
Mm-hmm.
and blockchain, and it's basically a token that has some sort of artwork on it,
Mhm.
It's just for decoration. I mean, it's not of any value.
Right.
But you scan a QR, and that now is assigned to you, that you can stick into your wallet. And so now you can say, all right, well, I was at this event. You can use it as a collector's item.
Mm-hmm.
Ideally, I want to see it be used as some sort of entrepreneur currency, so I can go to like Taverna here,
Yep.
and get a discount, or
Yeah.
or what have you, trade it up. Who knows? But I said, all right, well, here we have it. We have 100 to give away, and you folks that are using this POAP, give me some ideas.
Yeah.
Let's come up with something, because I like that. Number one, it's going to introduce people to the Web3 space, which I think should explode, and we want creative folks to start
Which we
participating in
lost
that.
the bubble on a little bit as AI came in a couple of years ago. Everyone got real excited. Everyone was excited about Web3 and
Yeah.
virtual reality and that kind of stuff, and then all of a sudden everyone was like AI,
Yeah.
and the discussion shifted away from Web3, and I'm really excited to see the discussion shift back to Web3, because Web3 is going to be an absolutely critical component of how we all work together and collaborate in the future.
100%. And so that's what I say. There's so many opportunities. Well, let's at least get people introduced to that space in some way, so that maybe they go, okay, wait, this could really solve this for me, or maybe I
Yeah.
could make something here. I mean, I heard something, and I don't know if it's true or not, but I was told that the exchange rate is cheaper than credit card fees, and so some businesses are going, well, I'd rather take a cryptocurrency
Mm-hmm.
and pay the exchange rate than have to pay whatever the
Pay the gas fees on crypto than paying
the credit
a
card fees.
2.9% credit card fee.
Right. And you know what? And
Works for me.
And I think about this too. As a business person, those charges really pile up.
They add up.
And
It
it's a
doesn't sound
variable
like a lot,
charge.
but
yeah, and you got to count that in for your pricing and your bottom
Yep.
line, and it could. I remember one time we were working with one of the financial strategists here, and we had done a spreadsheet about our pricing model for my company in Tagging when we were first doing it,
Mhm.
and we realized the more we sold, the more money we made, the more sales
the more
we had,
revenue you brought in, the less profit
profit
you
I
made
made.
because of the diminishing returns of
Yes.
not factoring in the credit card
Yes.
fees. And a lot of businesses go through that. They either find they have to rework their price structure if you don't think it through ahead of time,
That's right.
or you don't build your margins high enough in the first place. You can actually get to a point where you can be bringing in much more revenue and actually making less profit.
and it didn't make sense until you put it on the spreadsheet and
Yep.
go, wait a second.
Numbers don't
The
lie.
Numbers don't lie. I'm actually making less money the more work I do, and the more revenue I generate, the less money I make.
Yep.
So anyway, I thought, well, that's a pretty interesting use case. I wonder, if that's true, and so on, when it comes to the blockchain. But outside of cryptocurrency and outside of art,
Mhm.
I think there's a lot of practical uses for it, and I love
James-
to challenge the community.
James
that
was
do.
up here telling us all about what he sees coming in the
Oh yeah,
in the future years with the abilities that blockchain will give us. So,
who knows? He definitely has his he has his pulse or finger on the pulse. and
yeah.
he seems to know a lot of stuff, and I'm glad that he hosts his meetup here.
Yeah.
I learned a lot of stuff on it as well. And granted, I'm far from an expert, but I definitely appreciate what the world could look like in 10 years, assuming that technology takes off.
So one of the things we're back to this month that we got away from a little bit at Tech Alley is we're having a launch party today.
Right.
So tell us about
Oh.
the launch party.
So I don't know if you remember the roots of the launch party.
I don't. So tell us that story first.
So a few years ago, there was some high school students, and they were coming to Tech Alley and using it as a mentorship thing. They were talking to people in the space, and they had this mentorship app idea, and they built it and MVP, and they're like, all right, well, what would it take to actually launch a business off of this? So they were talking to Kurt and talking to other individuals, and I think they had probably 10 mentors.
That was Zach and his crew, right?
Yeah,
It's,
yeah.
it's one of the very first early Tech Alley success stories of impact in the community.
Yeah, and so they probably had like 10 mentors, and so then they launched their product, and I heard about it. I said, well, if you launch your product, you need a launch party, and so we hosted a launch party for them up here on the rooftop of Taverna, and 60 people showed up, and it was a lot of fun,
Mm-hmm.
and these guys really appreciated this, and and I had heard a few times, and this what led into this pledge that I had. I said, you know what, if any new Las Vegas startup brings their idea to market, we'll host a launch party for them, right? Because I thought, number one, I heard that a lot of these new founders were just kind of giving themselves high fives, and then that was their launch, right? We did it; it's in the market. All right.
Which is a launch, but like let's do something for you. Let's
Right.
I'm a big believer. You've heard me say this. I say this all the time, and people are probably tired of hearing it. If you've ever seen the movie School of Rock, there's this one scene where the kid has written a song, but he doesn't want Jack Black to know about it.
Right.
And Jack Black's like, "Give me this," and he's like, "What is this?" He's like, "The song I wrote." He's like, "We got to play this," right? That's what bands do. We play each other's songs, and that's what we need to do as a tech community. Is we need to play each other's songs here.
Yeah.
And that's what you guys are doing with Tech Alley, and that's what you're doing with the launch parties. Is we're playing each other's songs.
Yeah, 100%. And so I thought two things. One, I think it's sad if you're just the founders are kind of giving themselves a pat on the back and then going forward without anybody else really knowing that
Yeah.
there was a launch. And two, what happens when a startup fails? Well, they just disappear. You never hear from them again.
Yep.
And what we want is we want people to go, all right, well, I'm going to jump back into it and come up with something new. I mean, failure is just a part of.
And that's something we want in the community
Innovation.
as well. We want to be a supportive community of, look, not every idea goes somewhere,
Yeah.
but we want you to know that we'll support you on this idea. And if this doesn't work out for you, because there's a lot of reasons that an idea may not work out, we want to support you doing the next one. too.
100%. We want you to get right back into it, right back
Yep.
into the fold.
So no more in School of Rock. Jack Black says no more secret songs, no more secret startup launches.
That's right. That's 100%. And so, yeah, we made a commitment. Any new startup, let us know, and we'll throw a launch party for you. And yeah, there was a gap in there for a while. We were
Yeah.
doing it pretty consistently. And
Look, it was hot. It was super hot this summer. I think everyone was glad not to be on the roof deck at 5 p.m.
probably right. And but yeah, so now we have a launch party.
Okay, so who are we doing a launch party for today?
So it's an interesting story. It's a shoe company,
Okay,
and it is one of the products that was under, Kurt Walker.
I do. Of course, we
Kurt-
all know Kurt Walker.
Yeah,
We're going
yeah.
to try to get him up here today. Kurt Walker, who's got my money?
Yeah. And he can probably share a little bit more details about it. But I actually find it really interesting, the story, or at least the concept of it. But he was an investor in a startup, and from my understanding, it didn't do as well as they did. So the investors took over,
Mm-hmm.
and so now they're relaunching it.
Very cool.
And so as a founder, you got to think about that. Well, what happens if I do get investment money and I'm not performing? What's this other side
Yep.
of business here? And can the investors come in and say, well, this is now ours, right? We got
Well-
to protect that investment. Now, he's going to give you a much, if he wants to talk about it, I'm sure he does, but I think it's a really interesting, a story. I would call it a story or something just to be aware of
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to business, when it comes to startups. Anyway, he launched it. He has some shoes. They're going to be giving them away. They are pretty neat shoes.
All right. Well, come
Uh,
on. If you're in Vegas, come on down to Tech Alley. Get signed in. You got to be signed in to get the benefits of lunch and the start and the launch party today. But come on down. We're at the corner of Taverna. We're at Taverna Costera on the corner of Charleston and Maine.
Yeah.
So come on down to the launch party. But we're giving away shoes apparently. So
Yeah, they're like golf shoes.
golf shoes.
Yeah, and they kind of they have the
I do need some new golf shoes. I might have to get my name in for that drawing.
and so what if I can explain it right, and Kurt could probably do a much better job, but they have like what they call the saddle, so the part that goes over like the laces,
Mhm.
but you can exchange those for any sort of design.
Oh,
so you can make
yeah.
them unique
yeah,
in a
branding.
way. So that's their stick or whatever.
Fantastic.
Yeah, we're excited about that. So the launch party is food and entertainment, and an opportunity to cheer on and be part of
Okay.
that of a startup. So overall, it's been a fantastic day. And the reason why we're requiring the check-in now especially for food is because we've been running out of food.
No.
There's so many people here that we have to now say, all right, well, we have to
Well, the-
have a better understanding of how many people are coming
It's
to this
the
event.
price of being popular and successful here in
Yeah.
Las Vegas.
And do you remember
so-
that menu? I hope that. Oh man, I hope that James shared it, but
He didn't. We didn't get to
Oh
hear what
my
the menu is, but
God.
it's always good. So
yeah.
I
Well,
mean, it's,
you know what I'll do is I'll post some on Instagram right now. You're probably gonna if you're not here yet, you're probably gonna miss it. But
so get
Taverna
down,
went-
get down here fast.
Taverna
Get down
went
here
out.
fast. Sophia, what's on the menu?
It's like ceviche. Yeah. Look at this.
Chicken.
Man,
Looks fantastic.
what other event you getting that for free, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not anywhere
Not
else here in Las
many.
Vegas. I can tell you that.
Yeah,
So
Taverna, has been taking care of us for what 3 years since we
3 years, I think. Well, I mean, since the very beginning, right? Now
Yeah, yeah.
we're 3 years plus 4 or 5 months into
Yeah.
into doing this. So
Yeah.
So-
Tech Alley is part of Startup Week. This is a lot of fun, meeting a lot of new people next month. We're going to be part of Global Entrepreneur
Global
Week.
Entrepreneurship Week.
And Dave Berlin can talk more, about that. He's
Yep.
hosting an event a discussion of it here in a
Yeah, we're gonna try to
Soon.
actually bring his talk live to everybody if we can get it all set up. So we've got
Oh, yeah.
we've got what we need to do that. We just need to get it over into the room when he's ready. And
yeah, sweet
so,
150
so that's what we're gonna try to do. So yeah, that's gonna be what time is he doing his talk today?
at 115.
1:15. So yeah,
Yeah, and-
if you see Dave, send him my way because I have microphones and a tripod for him, so he can
Oh.
set up his phone to come in
oh,
as
good.
part of this feed. So
Good, yeah. And so we got him doing that, and a couple other new meetups. We have the AWS for startups. at
Yeah.
115.
Yeah.
Josh Copeland had the programmers
Yep.
meetup. He's now coaching for his kids, so he couldn't do Saturdays.
Okay.
So there's a new meetup called Sin City Programmers that Josh, Stacy, and
Okay, cool.
Gabriel are putting together. So we're still giving the technology,
Is Josh
component.
Stacy doing demo time again this
and he's
month?
doing demo time.
Demo time. Love demo time.
I think Josh Stacy's a really cool cat, man.
Oh, Josh Stacy's amazing. If you don't know Josh Stacy and you're interested, actually, if you don't know Josh Stacy, get to know Josh Stacy. Wherever you
Yeah.
are, whether in Las Vegas or not, get to know Josh Stacy. He's been on here a couple of times. We need to get him in I need to get him in a more in-depth interview on my podcast.
Yeah.
But and especially if you're interested in tech, entrepreneurship, investing, get to know Josh Stacy.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. And we got the hidden truth, I think, is of SEO again.
Yep,
with
Eric's
Eric.
coming down. So
Yeah. And so it's a full day. It's going from 8 till 6. But if you're eager to get part of the scene, man, jump over here. Check out Taverna. Check out what's happening in Vegas. A lot of new faces down there, and
Yeah.
it's an opportunity to get to know some folks.
check it out. It's a gorgeous day. I promise you, it is not 1,000 degrees like it's been in the past. So come on down to downtown Las Vegas, Taverna Costera, corner of Charleston and Main, and check out Tech Alley. Get to know some of the folks down here. And you've got I bet you've got maybe 20 minutes before the food is gone if you want to get down here for lunch. So
All right.
20 minutes on the outside. So
Yeah.
so Josh, always great to see
Oh,
you.
thank you
Thanks
for
for
doing
joining
it.
us. Thank
No,
you for
glad
letting
you're
us
doing
do this from your event today. So
no, thank you for being here. I think that people enjoy it. I enjoy watching it. It's
we're getting a lot more viewers than we're used to getting on this, so I think we're doing something right.
well, I
So-
share my channel on our YouTube channel just
Yeah.
because it's you do some really good
Yeah.
interviews, and I like
So-
to watch them.
well,
All right.
thanks for letting us be a part of it.
Get to the good people.
right.
All right.
So come on up. Hey, how are you,
Adam Lopez.
Jason? Have a
Jason, thank you, sir.
seat. Adam, tell us what brings you here today. What you're all about.
Yeah, so been in the tech industry for many years. Worked on the strip, different places. Sun's coming in.
Yeah. So
Welcome.
I'm going to explain to the audience. My left eye's not great after some eye surgeries I've had over the years, and I'm getting this weird flashing thing.
Oh, no.
And so what it is now I can see if I look over there, it's a fan, and I'm like, I thought, is someone flashing a strobe light at us? So, like, not just that's going to be really bad
Purposely.
for the audience, right? So,
Right.
all right, let's start over. Adam,
right.
tell us what brings you to Tech Alley today and why you're here.
Hey, so Adam Lopez, president of CMIT Solutions of Las Vegas. So I've been in the tech industry for a long time in Las Vegas. I was the former vice president of IT at Golden Entertainment,
Okay.
as well as Goodwill International. So what I love about the tech industry here is that we're just such a nice group
Mhm.
of people. Like I think we're a great team. Recently I bought a franchise called CMIT Solutions.
Okay.
What we do is we provide small to medium-sized businesses technical support.
Okay.
24/7 home support, cybersecurity, anything tech related, right? We want to make sure the business grows. But what I'm finding out is that the community out here in Vegas is tight. How do we get our local entrepreneurs into the businesses, right? That's always the gap, right? Like, okay, great product. How do I get this to the next phase? So I'm hoping to bridge that gap here and provide like that, hey, we provide services to small to medium-sized businesses. Maybe you have a workflow. Maybe you have an idea for a small to medium-sized business that makes them more and more efficient. That's not going to charge them what Amazon would charge them or what Microsoft would charge them, and provide that kind of service to
Love
the
to
end
love to
clients.
hear it. Helping people get into entrepreneurship, helping people
Absolutely.
grow their businesses. Right. Sometimes
Correct.
those IT costs are actually
Oh.
prohibitive to growing the business. To bringing in. We were just Josh and I. You were here. Josh and
Yeah.
I were just talking about. Sometimes you're bringing in more and more revenue, and there's diminishing returns because of how you're set up, and your costs start to exceed the profit you bring in. So
Right.
love seeing that. So you worked for Golden.
Yep.
If you're from Las Vegas, you probably know who Golden is. But if you don't, Golden is PTs.
Right. PTs
Golden
and
is that tall building in the background there, the Stratosphere.
That was our office.
They own. You got to work in the
Yeah,
Stratosphere
well,
every day. That's exciting.
We were at the bottom, but we got to go up there as a perk. So
It's
we
still,
go up there
you're
for
still
lunch.
working.
Yeah,
in
it was
you're
fun.
still working in a strip casino in Las.
It was
That's
fun.
my favorite thing about living in Las Vegas and having a business in Las Vegas is I get to go walk into casinos, walk through casinos to go have coffee or drinks or lunch or meetings with clients or potential clients. And there's
Oh my
nothing like
gosh.
if you love Las Vegas, whether you live here or not, there's nothing like the excitement of I am walking across a casino floor to go to a meeting as part of my business life. There's,
it's
there's
amazing.
nothing exciting. So yeah, tell me what it was like working for Golden. Then I've got a couple other questions
Yeah,
about your
absolutely.
journey. So
Golden's been great. So, I was there before COVID. Like, we were part of the shutdown crew, unfortunately, that kind of laid that down. But it was great. I mean, we did a lot of stuff because Golden's kind of that mid-market, right? So they have a lot of small places, small bars, casinos inside of Las Vegas. I think they have like 40, 50, something like that.
it's a fixture.
lot.
If you
It is.
if you live in Las Vegas, I will guarantee you have probably been in a Golden property inside the last month.
Right, exactly. But they have some of the same challenges that a lot of small businesses have, such as, hey, I won't name the ISP provider out here has problems. Like, how do I overcome that? Right? I've been down for 4 days. That's affecting my business. So we worked with different ISP providers to say, how do we build in redundancy? How do we build in some kind of that backup support system to help save the PTs from going down from a intercorporate kind of reporting system? So we bring that to now smaller businesses here in Vegas. It was great. I mean, the Sartini family Blake Sartini has been a great supporter of Las Vegas, as you know. He's married to the Fertittas that own the Station Casinos. A lot of longtime Vegas knows it's a very small
Las Vegas
casino.
small business royalty.
Yes, exactly. They are. So, and I was at the grand opening when we did the reopening here at the Strat, when we had Bob Stupak's son there that, did the ribbon cutting. So it's just, Vegas is such a small community and I love it, to that day.
So you were working for corporate
Yep.
at the Strat for Golden. Then you made the move to Goodwill.
Yep.
And then you made the move to entrepreneurship.
I
So
did.
tell me about the journey. Why leave cushy corporate to go to a nonprofit, which is probably cushy but less cushy,
Yes.
and then ultimately into entrepreneurship?
Yeah, great. And I had a little things in the road like most people have, right? COVID happened, and then, went to go work for a nonprofit. Tech and nonprofits a little bit different. They don't pay a lot, right? But they, you feel like you're giving back to the community. But I just I started interviewing for jobs when I left. I said, where do I want to go? Where do I want to pivot my career to? And one of the things that I saw was like, I was going through these interviews and like, a lot of stuff was like, hey, we just want you to kind of stay in the basement and fix my computers. Like, I don't want you to think outside the box. I just want you to fix my computer. I'm like, no, but there's so much great technology out there that could save money, that can do this more efficient. No, that's not your job. Your job is to make sure that my computer's running every day. And I just said, I just couldn't, it's like, I just need to break out of that, right? So that's what got me into entrepreneurship. It's like, how can I provide my service? Because I have all these ideas that I want to support in businesses and stuff like that. And I can't do that through the corporation because you're handcuffed a bit. So that led me to starting my own business.
Was it different working for the nonprofit, working for Goodwill?
Yes.
Were they a little more accepting of let's try some new things because they're, was it different? Were they a little more willing to accept a little more risk because they want to stretch their dollar further as nonprofits?
I mean, nonprofits, and we're the same way. We offer a nonprofit discount. They get a lot of great discounts, right? So a lot of their stuff they get is at great prices, for some of the other products you serve. Microsoft License has a great product. Google has a great like nonprofit process like that. The where it comes down to is two parts. One is, hey, it's not broken, don't fix it. So how do we grow with that? So when I brought into Goodwill, it's like, okay, well, let's get away from like developing everything because we're not a development house. Let's buy stuff out of the box. And then also, how can we develop our teams? Like so I have people come from the stores and say, hey, I want to work in tech. Big question. Everybody gets it. I want to be in cybersecurity. I want to be in operations. Great. So we developed a help desk program where we're like, hey, great. We'll get you in help desk. We'll provide you that support. We'll give you the learning to support 24 stores here in Las Vegas, and then also cybersecurity needs. My goal was to build a SIMSOC. I was going to be, hey, help desk, and then a 24-hour nonprofit SIMSOC that we can give to other small businesses and nonprofit for a reduced or cheaper rate.
Okay.
Didn't get that far in the progress, but I think that that model's still there. And that's what we do at CMIT Solutions. We actually, honestly, we work for Nevada, Education Nevada, which provides, people that don't have an opportunity to give them that chance. Because everyone goes and gets the CompTIA certifications, the online Google certifications, but no one hires them because they don't have the practical experience. And we have a big gap in the tech industry to bridge that gap. So that's what I want to be able to provide through CMIT. And we did that at Goodwill. It's like, hey, we'll give you a shot. We don't have a problem with that. We'll get you in tech. We'll give you that experience to, hey, I know how to troubleshoot now, being an RMM. I know how to, the SimSock is going and alerting. What do I do next? We'll give you that practical experience so you can bring that on to the bigger companies. And our goal is to get you into the MGMs of the world, it's the Caesars of the world for those opportunities.
Well, I love that. And we're going to have to talk sometime about, I'm involved with an organization called Vets in Tech. And we're looking to get veterans into tech careers, whether they're kids just coming out of active duty of our 2 big Air Force bases here, or they're veterans who are a number of years removed and they're looking to make a career change or looking to get into tech for whatever reason, right down to the military spouses and dependents and trying to help them get into tech careers. And if you're the kind of company that's looking to hire people to come in and help them get into tech careers, that's something we should definitely talk about.
No, I look forward to that. That would be a great opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. So how long have you been doing entrepreneurship now? How long have you been doing
So
this?
I've had a couple startups and failures like most
Like we all do, yeah.
Right? So I created a real estate app that did okay, and I didn't make any money, but it was a good experience. I also what else did I do? I had a record shop back when I was like 23 years old.
Oh, that sounds fun though. That sounds
it was a great
sounds
time.
really fun. It doesn't sound profitable, but it sounds really fun.
Right? But it was cool. We had vinyl, we had cassettes and CDs, but that was cutting edge. So and it was just kind of one of those things that, hey, I'm not getting any older. Younger, I should say. I'm getting older. I just hit 50 this year. So I want to have that opportunity to start my own business. So this was kind of that opportunity to go after it and to just all in, right? We got everything to lose, but one thing, is that work-life balance. And I think that a lot of people in tech struggle with that, right? Is that, the corporate America wants more and more out of you, and there's diminishing returns there. So how do we kind of level set that to adjust?
That's fantastic. So what is the biggest lesson you have learned since taking on entrepreneurship and leaving a more stable, more secure environment?
Well, so after a little story, after I left vice president for Goodwill, I've been consulting for the Hard Rock for the last 4 or 5 years, Hard Rock International. So, they took over the Mirage, but they still have a big presence. They have 6 casinos in Florida. They have a big presence out there.
They're huge.
I think they're #1 generating casino in the world. Tampa is their biggest revenue generator,
absolutely,
right?
yeah.
So, and they're a great company, right? They're huge. And, I really, like you said, it was cushy. It was nice. You had work remote, work wherever you want. But, that insecurity of leaving that behind is scary. Like, just like you're not going to have that constant paycheck, but, you got to look bigger, right? Just understand like, hey, what, and you'll see if it's meant for you, and you probably experience this too. If you start something and stuff just starts lining up weirdly, and I can't explain it. Like you'll just be like, hey, this person wants to come work for you and they want to help you grow your business, and they're okay taking a little salary cut until you get to that spot. And stuff like that happens and it falls in your lap and like, it's a sign, right? So stuff like that started happening for me. And yeah, it was hard. It was challenging, but you just get those little nuggets and you're like, okay, oh, here we go again. Next day, here we go again.
Got to get up every day.
Yes.
Whether it's a good day or a bad day, success or setback, you got to get up every day and start over again. And just keep turning that crank every day. That's what I tell my clients. So, fantastic. So, who are you looking to connect with? Who are you looking to hire? Who are you looking to connect with as customers? Are you even looking for customers? Are you so slammed you can't take anymore?
I wish that was the case, but hey, we're always looking for new customers. So, again, we're looking for the small to medium-sized businesses that are out there, right? That don't want to mess with the technology, that say, hey, you know what? I need to focus on my widget or my product to make it successful, but I don't want to mess with IT. So we provide a very reasonably priced solution. So we, CMIT has 250 locations across the U.S. So we just have a footprint here now in Vegas that I've taken on. What's nice about that is that we've been in every facet. So we have DoD contracts, we have attorney contracts, we have real estate we have every kind of gamblet there. So we use that leverage of those existing kind of knowledge base and bring it down to us to kind of bring that. So we're looking to expand, especially in the medical field, especially in the attorney field, because we have a lot of attorneys there, right? You know, and all the other facets to have small to medium-sized businesses and at a price that you guys can afford, right? Again, we're not, you know, our goal is to come in and not provide it. And another approach is like for Tech Alley anyways, like, you know, is to get the motivator, get the innovators, right? Hey, I have this solution. I want to try this out, right? So we're working with this trucking company and says, hey, I want to automate my BOL system. Great. You know, so guess what? There's people that do workflows, and I met them here at Tech Alley. So I'm able to connect those guys together and like, hey, you know what? Like, and what we can do as from CMIT is that we have 24/7 support desks, so we can supply their first level of support. So them as an entrepreneur, like I'm drowning in support calls, we could mitigate those and say, hey, we'll be your first level of defense, and say we can take on the smaller stuff, and then the bigger stuff we can kind of, you know, hey, say we can, Mr. Customer, level 2. Then we'll sit down with the person who created the app or their team to finesse that and make it a little bit better.
Yeah, so if you are drowning in support calls or otherwise drowning when it comes to your technology, holler at your boy Adam.
Yes, sir.
And it sounds like you guys are very tech forward. So you're interested in helping bring new solutions. You're not interested in doing the same old thing for people, right? You're not interested in setting them up with a new phone and ticket system,
Right.
which a lot of companies would do. Say, well,
Absolutely.
you need our phone system, our ticket system, and that will help you. It sounds like you're interested in like let's bring in that AI chat bot. We'll help you
Right.
do that, and we'll take 95% of what people are looking for. They can talk to the chat bot and then filter into when they actually need to talk to a person.
Correct, because you know, we're not trying to. We don't want to sell you on stuff that you don't need. We want to sell you on what's going to make you successful. What's going to make you grow. What's going to make you go out there and get more customers for you. So again, like, yeah, we can sell all those kind of off-the-shelf products, but at the end of the day, what's going to move your needle, right? And that's what we want to hear, listen to. My CIO is a corporate America guy. So what I'm finding in MSPs is that a lot of the MSPs are MSP guys, right? They're like, you know, hey, I was a hardware guy here, I was the network, which are great, right? But, you know, coming out of corporate America and having that visualization and bring that to small businesses, they like that because they're like, well, what is Hard Rock doing? What is Golden Entertainment doing? Because we want to mimic that same thing.
Why shouldn't we be doing it too,
Absolutely.
right?
So we can bring in that kind of
Cool.
view.
So what are you excited about to see at the rest of Tech? What did you watch? What talk did you go to this morning?
So this morning, I went to the marketing. So
Okay.
Karma, she's a
great, yeah.
She's with SBDC. She's actually helped us build and grow through our community as well. So if you haven't got started with SBDC, I highly suggest it. They're a great resource for free for small businesses that are starting, whether you're starting a company from scratch or you're a franchise or wherever you're at in your midstream of your business, they're able to sit down with you and kind of go through that journey, right? So she's able to provide to me her marketing experiences. I'm very fortunate. She has experience with MSPs, but also she has that wide variety of like, what's going to move your business of where you're at today? Like, are you in your infancy or are you in your mid journey or are you developed, right? How much money are you spending in marketing? Is it enough money? Or, you know, how are you going to grow that? So it was a great segment. She kind of went into, you know, what are you offering for free? You know, like, are you offering, you know, booklets to say, hey, I want to know more about your product or your offering, or I want to know this or that. Get out there, you know, just kind of get out. Like you said, get up every day and just provide that kind of level.
It's
of
awesome. What are you going to go see this afternoon?
Oh, so I love the new innovations. What is it called? The startup
Demo day?
Demo day.
Demo
I
time,
love
I
that
think
one.
they call it. Yeah, demo time.
It's just you get everything from this kid out of high school that has this idea and he just wants to just let everybody know to, hey, this guy is like fully developed and ready for market kind of scenario. And it's really nice to see the verse of that, but it's a really cool product for us as entrepreneurs because we're like, that's a great idea. And there's no judgment, right? You know, you can come off the street and say, I have this idea, and you know, whether it's good, bad, or different, you don't get judged at that. And I like that, right? Because again, like, you know, some of those things are going to be great and some things are not, but at least you get it out there and say, you get that early feedback and say, should I proceed with this or should I not?
Yeah, absolutely. Very, very supportive community here at Tech Alley. If you've got something you want to show off, come on down. All right. What is the big technology trend you're looking at that all business owners should be looking at right now?
Oh my gosh, AI. You know, I think that's with the automation. right? I think everybody has their own automation. I think, you know, like the big guys that are doing some of the cool stuff is like Salesforce, right? Salesforce is your CRM tool. And what are the big guys doing with it? They're utilizing, I'm sure you heard of Einstein, which is their AI bot, right? Watson for IBM.
Yep.
So what are they doing with that? So not to disclose too much, but I think that that I can tell you that the bigger companies are using it to understand next best actions, how to create a like a marketing program or an outreach program to say, what should my employees do next? So I send them an email. Great. It comes back. I'm interested. So what should that employee do next? So what the big CRM companies are doing is giving that roadmap of saying, okay, you should give this person an offer, or but they're doing beta test, A/B testing on that to see is that pulling more people in. So it's building that robotic kind of action to feed that database, so you're getting that to understand what I need to do to close that deal, right? To get that next person to like your product, and it could be anything from a product to a application, whatever it may be. But it's getting that feedback that drives it.
All right. Well, if you're looking for some help with your sales funnel, think about incorporating some AI into that.
Absolutely.
And go see Adam. Adam, tell everyone where they can find you and how to reach you and all that good stuff.
Absolutely. So cmitsolutions.com. That's cmitsolutions.com. You can come to our website. It kind of gives our portfolio of offerings, see all of our, you know, our blogs and stuff like that. Also, you can contact me at adam.lopez@cmitsolutions, and also 702-287-2577.
And it sounds like you'll be able to see Adam here at Tech Alley every month.
Every month.
Every third Saturday of the month down here at Taverna Costera, corner of Charleston and Main, downtown Las Vegas. If you're not in Las Vegas and you're thinking of coming to Las Vegas, come out for the third Saturday of the month. And if you are in Las Vegas and you are interested in tech, I don't know why you're not already down here today, but get on down here today and every third Saturday of the month. Adam, it was great to meet you.
Hey, the pleasure.
So thanks.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Hey, Daniel.
Good. Marcus,
I know.
is this your first Tech Alley?
Yes.
Oh, what do you think?
Amazing.
Yeah, great community here, right?
And it's pretty big. I mean, it's much bigger than I expected, actually.
Yeah.
It's growing a lot, the tech community
So-
here.
So, well, tell everybody, tell our audience. I know some of you from watching Marcus's podcast episode know what he's about, but tell the folks who don't know what you're about.
Perfect. We have a startup in Vegas. We do robotics as a service. So we automate factories in all North America, installing robots, doing the jobs that nobody wants to do it.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit, dive in a little deeper into what robotics as a service is.
Yeah, the thinking behind was a need. So factories could not find people to fulfill some openings, and they would need some robots, right? But they would not have the capex to buy the machinery. So instead of, but they have the opex to pay that labor, right? So basically, we solve that problem, bring in robots using that opex that they had available. So basically, they rent the robots for as much as needed.
Right.
How
So,
long as needed.
so don't buy a robot, talk to Marcus and hire a robot as your employee. And then you can pay for that out of your operating budget and your salary budget, not out of your capital expenditure budget, which comes with all kinds of advantages. So if you are looking to hire people and you'd like to have a robot work for you, come talk to Marcus. So
Perfect. Thank you so much, and have a great day, guys.
so tell us a little about your robots that you're working on now.
Well, we are gonna launch a new robot in the next month. It's like a 66 pounds robot. So basically, it's a stronger and bigger robot.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more efficient, and we can do more palletizing for bigger boxes, let's say.
Yeah. So what your current technology is you have robots that unpack pallets and pack pallets, right? Which is really great because that's a thing. All that repetitive motion is really bad for human beings, but it's really great for robots. And so we can free up people to do things people are good at and not injuring people. And the robots can do that work for them, and they can do that all day long. They can do that all night long. They never get tired. They never need to be fed. They can work in the dark. They don't even need lights, right? So
That's a very interesting point that you're bringing now is about energy, right? And being green. So if you have a factory with plenty of robots, you don't need lights, you don't need AC, you don't need transportation for all the CO2 emissions. So also for the environmental thinking, robots are a great assets that we should consider it more.
yeah. So this is your first Tech Alley.
Yeah.
What talk did you go to? One of the morning talks, or are you just getting here now?
Yes, I just watched a talk basically about VC.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was very interesting to learn.
So you watched Kurt Walker's "Who's Got My Money" talk,
Exactly.
and our next guest, I guess, was the moderator of that talk. So
Exactly.
and are you guys raising money right now?
Yes, we'll be raising 5 million in the next 6 months.
Okay.
So we are looking for a building right now to expand our operations because, as you saw, in person, I don't have any more space at all.
No, you guys are maxed out on space, and if you're
Yeah.
trying to bring some new robots online, you need a little more space to do that. So that was your talk you went to this morning. Who's Got My Money? What are you excited to see at Tech Alley for the rest of the day?
I'm not sure yet. I need to check the schedule now.
Okay.
I didn't have time.
Well, there's some good stuff coming up. I know Demo Time is coming up. I know there's a talk on Global Entrepreneurship Week, and I think the AWS meetup is happening this afternoon as well. That's what I remember off the top of my head. So,
You have an
So-
amazing memory.
all right. Well, I try. Well, thanks for joining us
Thank
today.
you so much.
Always
Have
good
a
to
great
see
day.
you.
Good to see you. Thank you, guys. Have a good day.
Hey, Alyssa, come on in.
Should we both come up?
Can you
Can we share a microphone? I know
you
it's-
guys are certainly welcome to share a microphone. Don't grab one of those chairs because I think they're all broken. Grab one of the chairs from somewhere else.
I know it's a cardioid mic. Sure.
No, the bar stool will be fine. I think that chair that bag is on is probably okay too. Hey, Dave, there is a tripod for you for when you go do your talk. What your
Thank
talk
you.
starts pretty quick here, right? 1:15. Okay, we're gonna have to take a minute. When I'm done with them, we're gonna have to take a minute to get you set up. But
Hi.
hey, it's good to see you again.
Yeah,
we
how
ran
are
into each
you?
other this morning. We
Yeah.
first met at your talk for Startup NV
Yeah.
6 months ago.
Yeah.
So tell us who you guys are, who you
Sure.
ladies are, and what you're all about, and what brings you to Tech Alley today.
Sure. So, you want me to go?
Yeah, go for
All right. So, my wife and I own a group of companies under Night Group. primarily in entertainment. So we have Night Studios, which is a TV production company. We're currently working on our first TV series that's going to be going to major distribution next year. We're excited about that. That's season 1.
And that's like a spy thriller kind of
Yeah,
thing, right?
yeah, procedural crime drama. So it's very much I can't name drop the platform, but I'll say it's very similar to Sopranos.
Okay.
Sopranos meets Mr. Robot. So we also own a coffee company. We just launched a video game development company.
last week, and we own an events company as well.
Yeah, and you both have a background in tech, right?
Correct. So I'm a recovering hacker. I was arrested for hacking into a government network when I was 17. Went to go work for the U.S. intelligence community in cyber warfare, and started and sold several cybersecurity startups. And Mel's on the defense side, so we're spy versus spy got married.
Yeah, so my story isn't as exciting as Alyssa's, but I work for the government sector, Department of Defense, Department of Energy. I actually was part of the team that built the first security operations center here at the Strip
Okay.
for Sands Corp. So they flew me to Macau, Singapore, and I built the security operations for Venetian and Palazzo. And then I got hired from Sands to an MSSP called Herjavec Group, which is owned by Robert Herjavec.
Robert Herjavec of Shark Tank, if anybody's keeping score in the audience.
And I led his managed service practice for 5.5 years.
Yeah.
And that's where I met Alyssa at a Black Hat conference.
She's a bigger deal than me. She's just modest.
I don't know. You're both pretty big deals, and it's so great that you found each other coming from
Yeah.
such different ends of the spectrum
Yeah.
and come together. But the reason on movies and TV you see that story all the time of the hacker who gets caught and instead of going to prison works for the government. Alyssa Knight's the reason that's a story. That's a real thing. They didn't come up with that on their own.
New TV series is based on my life, actually.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to find out more. So you guys, or you, were moderating the panel with Kurt's Who's Got My Money panel this morning.
Correct.
So,
Yeah.
So what were your big takeaways this morning?
You know, so one of the things that Mel and I have been thinking about doing was right now we own 7 companies, one of which is an MSSP, and we wanted to start a venture fund, invest in startups. But one of the things that Kurt had introduced us to was this concept of what's called a venture studio. So instead of investing in outside companies, we would take in the money from LPs and put those into the companies we start and run, which is a really cool concept. And I think it's exactly what Mel and I were looking to do.
So are you guys active as a fund or still building that out?
So we've just started. We're literally on day 1 of pursuing this, but we do know that for our portfolio companies and the fact that we own 7 of them right now, which are all fully operating and revenue driven, it makes sense. It tracks with what we're doing.
What kind of companies are you looking at bringing in to your portfolio?
Well, right now, I think mostly we're very big on experiential marketing, entertainment. So we've got the Hollywood studio, and then we also have the video game development company. So a lot of our money has been going into those aspects. We're now on our 7th TV series, so we produced 7 TV series so far. So, we're continuing to build that studio, as well as probably the coffee company.
I was going to say the coffee
The
company.
coffee company is
number one.
another one. So
Fantastic. And you are not from Vegas.
I'm not. I'm a transplant from
So
Seattle.
what brought you to Vegas? What's great about Vegas that you brought your companies here?
So I actually met my wife at a hacker conference, and so I ended up moving here to be with her. And so
We started our companies in 2021 after we met.
So we're only like 3 years into this.
Yeah,
So
the
we've
birth of the companies.
we've birthed 7 companies in 3 years.
And a great relationship,
Yeah,
it sounds like.
exactly.
Yeah.
So fantastic. So what else are you excited to see at Tech Alley while you're here today?
I'll let you answer that one.
I want to just meet different founders, see, what their methodology, what their process is. I think that's so important to see what they're doing in the community and seeing how we can partner with individuals like yourself or Kurt to kind of be a part of the founders.
Support them
community.
and help be a platform.
Yeah, absolutely. And you, what are you excited to see today?
Oh gosh, I think I'm gonna cheat on my answer and say I'm not as excited about the sessions. I'm excited about the people. Like just the idea that this awesome community is being brought together of founders, funders, and just being here to support all each other. I'm looking forward to meeting people.
Yeah,
That's-
The sessions are great at Tech Alley.
Yeah, sessions are great.
Free lunch is great. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, but the people are really what makes Tech
Yeah.
Alley special. So,
Exactly.
let everyone know where they can find you and what's coming
Yeah.
up for you guys.
Yeah, so nightgroup.co is our main group website, and then all of our individual subsidiary companies have websites, so nightstudios.co or .com. You can find us on all the socials as Night Group or Alyssa Night. And
No
Night.
night visuals. Yeah.
No
Yeah.
Night Visuals. Well, it's so great to see you both
thank you so
again.
much.
I didn't
Yeah,
expect to
it's good
see you
to-
today,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm so
Great
happy
to
you're
see
here
you.
at
It's
Tech
good to see
Alley.
you. Thank
I hope
you.
we'll get you out for some global entrepreneurship week
Yeah.
stuff. I hope we'll get you out for some vets and tech stuff coming up in the future. So thank you again for joining us.
Awesome.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much
Thanks.
for having us. Okay.
Let me take 1 minute to get Dave set up. All right. Well, welcome to Live from Tech Alley.
Thank
I
you
love your
so much
outfit. You
for
look very
having me.
you look very 70s.
Oh, thank you. I doing my Canadian tuxedo today.
You're Canadian. For those of you in the audience who aren't aware of what that means, she's in denim. So Gina, tell us what brings you to Tech Alley today. Tell us what you're all about.
Yeah, so I'm a social media strategist.
Okay.
Right now, I'm focused on helping founders create and monetize their personal brand.
Okay.
So yeah, today I'm just here today to learn and also see who I can help and maybe how I can help them.
Oh, fantastic. Is this your first Tech Alley?
This is my second.
Your second Tech Alley. So, and
Yeah.
are you from Vegas or where are you from?
I just moved here a year ago.
Okay.
Yeah, so fairly new. I'm a California transplant.
Okay.
I think like many.
NorCal
people.
or SoCal?
Both. I'm
Both.
originally from the Bay Area.
Okay.
But I was in LA for the last 10
Okay.
years.
Very cool. What were you
Yeah.
doing in LA? Were you doing marketing and media and that kind of stuff?
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
so what was your background in that kind of stuff?
Yeah. So my background, I've worked across high growth startups. I did the corporate thing,
Okay.
also working for big tech on the agency side as
Okay.
well. So everything from developing branding to content,
Mhm.
influencer marketing, partnerships. So all of that experience has kind of laddered up to what I'm doing now.
Nice. That's fantastic. So you're here now. You're getting out of the big leagues,
Yeah.
and you're looking to help people move up into the big leagues. It sounds like.
Yeah, just looking to help people gain more visibility and
Mhm.
projects into what they're doing. I think, founders are obviously invested so much in what they're building, and it's so important to create visibility for yourself and what you're building
Mhm.
to ultimately help bring it to life, right? So
What's your best piece of advice you're willing to give out for free on our live stream? Your best piece of advice to founders, tech founders, startup founders, or small business owners about increasing their visibility?
Yeah, I would say to absolutely get on LinkedIn and start creating educational content, value-based content about what you're doing, what you're bringing to market, the problems you're solving, and ultimately creating that as a piece to start building value. So
Mhm.
I was also in the Where's My Money session with Kurt, and he was
Who's got my money?
great branding, by the way. And one thing he was talking about was the importance of starting to build those relationships really early on, right? Not when you actually need the funding, but building those relationships 8 to 12 months before you actually need that funding. So a great way to continue to keep in touch and share value and updates on what you're building is through making those connections and then continuing to share content and nurture those relationships on platforms like LinkedIn is also great to use tools like LinkedIn Sales Navigator to find and connect with the people that you're looking to either help grow your company, fund, or add to your team.
Well, where can everyone find you on LinkedIn?
Yeah, so I'm at Gina Naknak, and that's my real last name. It's not a layup to a joke.
Beat me to it, but okay. I guess I'm not the host anymore.
So Gina Naknak, last name is spelled Nacnac.
Guys, it's not easier than that. So look up Gina on LinkedIn. What is an important trend that founders, small business owners in media and marketing should be following right now?
I don't know if I would call it a trend, but I would definitely say to leverage AI as much as possible. That's one thing that I'm working on bringing into my consulting practice to ultimately bring out tools that we can create to simplify the content creation process. So I would really just encourage founders to do something to what I'm doing with my clients, which is building a brand book, which is the foundation of what your personal brand is and what you're sharing, and uploading those as like resources to tools like GPT to help you come up with content ideas, script, write your sales pages, all of that. So really leveraging AI to simplify your creation process.
Awesome. So what are some of those things? Again, I'm going to try to squeeze as much free
Please.
advice out of you as I can today.
Yeah.
What are some of those things that should go into that brand book besides scripts and that kind of thing?
Yeah, absolutely. So in your brand book, you really want to define your offer, your unique selling position, your ideal client profile. So not just demographics and psychographics, but really understanding what are their goals, challenges, fears, every desire, right? The more insights you know about them, the better, because then you can start to craft all of your marketing messages around that foundation. So I really encourage, especially founders that are in the kind of research and development phase, to get on as many discovery calls as possible, gather those insights, have a tool like an AI meeting note taker in those meetings, taking notes. I like to download those transcripts, upload it to GPT and say, summarize the insights related to their goals, challenges, and then continuing to build out that ideal client profile, I think is really great. So those are some of the key foundational elements for the brand book.
So go work on that. And if you're having trouble with that, find Gina Naknak. That's really fun to say. Naknak. I'm into it. Yeah, so find Gina if you're having trouble with that or need a little bit of advice. And where can everyone find you?
Yeah, so again, just at LinkedIn at Gina Naknak. I'm also on all of the other platforms, Instagram, TikTok. I wouldn't be a good social media person if I wasn't, but LinkedIn is definitely my primary platform, so that would be the best.
All right. Well, we're all gonna go and check you out on social media, see how your branding is, and see how it goes. So, what else are you excited to see at Tech Alley today?
Yeah. So actually, I'm going to jump into a talk with Jackson. He's going to go into AI tools for content creation. So again, continuing to learn about all of those cool things. I think he's going to talk about a tool that you can actually use as a deep fake. I know that that's kind of a dirty word these days. But being able to clone yourself to create video content.
I know two companies that are doing that right now for lack of a better word, for legit marketing purposes, because you can only create so much. If you're a content creator, you can only create so much content on your own. But if you genuinely want to create more content, and sometimes you really need to flood your channels with content to get the reaction you're looking for. Why not work with some of these companies? And again, don't do nefarious things. Don't be bad. But there's a bunch of companies out there doing that, and so that's really interesting. I think that'll be a really great talk. So
yeah, absolutely.
So all right, well, I hope you'll come back and see us again in the future.
Thank you.
So I definitely want to get your info and connect with you. I've got your info on LinkedIn, so I'll reach out to you. But
please.
But we'll connect up. And you told us where you can reach us. You told us what you're excited about. Any last things you want to leave our audience with?
I think, really just an encouraging word about, creating. I think that a lot of people, as they're creating it becomes a very discouraging process because you feel like you're kind of yelling into the void of social, and
I know how that feels.
you're wondering, does this really matter? Is anybody really watching? But I like to say that it doesn't really necessarily matter how many people are watching your content. It's a matter of who is watching your content, right? So to just continue sharing what you feel inspired to share and the value that you're looking to bring to the world. And, in this world where we're very caught up in metrics and being measured by likes and comments and so on and so forth, I would just like to encourage people to kind of detach from that and to continue to share what you're working on, just for the sake of sharing and for the art of it and bringing people into your world. So,
Well, and I want to thank all of you for watching, because I know we're not just screaming out into the void. There's some of you watching out there. So thank you for joining us today. If you are in Las Vegas and you're interested in the things Gina's talking about with the branding, the tech, the drones, the AI, the crypto, the programming, the hardware, the software, all the things that are going on at Tech Alley today, get on down here to the corner of Charleston and Main in downtown Las Vegas. Taverna Costera is sponsoring the water, the coffee, the lunch. That's already done, but you can still come down here and see some really great tech talks and get to know some really great people who are looking to help people boost their businesses, grow our ecosystem, and really build up our tech community here in Las Vegas. Gina, thank you so much for joining us today.
thank you so much for having me. It was great speaking with you, and I look forward to continuing the conversation and connecting with more of you. Hopefully, I'll see you in my DMs on
Yes,
LinkedIn.
slide into the DMs. And you can slide into mine too. I don't mind. So, all right. Thank you, Gina.
Thank you so much.
Kurt Walker, come on up. Kurt Walker, perpetually here to answer the question. What's the question you always answer, Kurt?
Who's got my money, your money,
Yes.
your capital? What's up,
So,
brother?
what were the highlights from the talk this morning?
Today we had a vignette, kind of a situation, story time with some founder funders. Every founder dreams of building a company that they can exit from, and then they get to angel invest or reinvest or go do another company, but they always want to go out and fund other deals and other founders. So we did a story from them, and then we actually did a reverse where they were asking me all the questions they want to answer.
Yeah, we just had Alyssa on, and she was kind of moderating all of that, right?
Yeah,
So-
she was asking a ton of questions from me, from their perspective. How do they learn to be great fundraisers? Because, not only do they want to keep investing, but they actually want to raise some funds to reinvest into other startups. So, yeah, it was a lot of fun.
I love that you, Alyssa, other people who are successful, whether as founders or investors, are saying out loud that we want to be investors. We have been founders and we want to be funders, because I think that's such an important part of what's the end game for my business, right?
Right.
Yes, I want to have an exit. Yes, I want to make money, and that's all important. But when you add that, I want to help bring other people along part, I want to be a funder as well. I think that just provides so much more meaning, and it's something that the whole community can get behind and cheer on with developing our ecosystem here.
Yep, 100%. It's very important that we see founders exiting their companies. It gives us an example to follow. It gives us an inspiration to know that we can be like. And it also provides liquidity, needed liquidity back into the market. The data shows that founders that exit tend to reinvest locally.
Love it. Love it. And you are not just talking about this, you're doing it with things like
Fusion 42.
Fusion 42,
So,
Pitch Kung Fu, all the other
yes,
things
this
you
is
do.
your,
so-
your new place to come and make sure that you're getting market ready. We've got big checklists for founders and small business owners. We also have real content every single week. We have pitch events. We have a Telegram group for real-time feedback with, other experts to help you with your financial modeling, your GTM, or your fundraise strategy. And we also have the Fusion 42 Raise Conference, which is December 3, 4, and 5.
Is that
we're-
here in Vegas or is it
That's
online?
it's
or-
virtual. They can come and check that out. The best fundraisers in the world.
Mhm.
And I just got back from Mexico. Just ran co-led a venture capital summit down there, and
Yeah.
apparently it went so well because I was just there a couple days ago. Mexico City wants us to do the same thing before the end of the year.
Fantastic.
So I'm doing my best to represent the Vegas venture ecosystem. Also want to give a shout out to all of the teams, Start NV and everybody else that were a part of putting together Vegas Tech Week, or I shouldn't call it that actually. It's Vegas Startup Week.
I mean, Vegas Tech Week is great too, and that's a different thing. But we also had Techstars Startup Week, sponsored by Startup NV here in Vegas this week.
Yeah, and it worked out pretty good. And then this
was
is the
great.
final day. And we have a launch party for one of my portfolio companies today at
Yes.
4 o'clock.
Yeah, so tell us about that company, because Josh told us we're doing the launch party, which is great because we got away from doing the launch parties for a while.
Yeah.
So I think you and I have talked about this company. I don't remember if we've talked about it on the
This is
stream.
Jack Race USA. This is a company I funded a couple of years ago with my partners. It's a golf athletic kind of leisure lifestyle brand. We do shoes, we do belts, we do a bunch of other stuff. And the shoes are pretty nifty.
Yep.
And yeah, it's going to be cool. We've got some new products coming out next season. And the reason we invested in it because it was complementary and adjacent to another company we did that was in the tech space that's actually at all the golf courses, and so it made sense to invest in Jack Race. And great brand, and we're excited to see it continue to grow. And we've got some product placement and some movies coming out. And
Yeah, there's like a branding play along with that and everything, right?
yep. And so it's been fun. I don't golf, but I like the shoes, I like the gear, I like the style, and it's fun to get involved with great founders and great projects.
Well, I do golf, so I'm gonna have to go check those guys
yes,
out.
that's right.
So, and I don't golf well, but I do golf. So,
Okay.
so what? You've got your finger on the pulse of so many things. You're so tied in. What are some things that, whether you're a founder, whether you're a funder, whether you're a small business owner, whether you're just someone interested in tech who's watching, what are some things everybody should be paying attention to right now?
Well, many people know we're building a funding engine. Basically, think of it as a capital matching engine. We are scraping all of the data out there. We're seeing what funders say versus what they do, what VCs are actually funding. And we are releasing every single week the new reports of new funds that are just launching. So 3 weeks ago, 7 new funds. Last week was 21 funds. This week, 26 new funds with capital ready to deploy. So if you're a founder that's wanting to start getting prepared 6 to 9 months in advance to know whom you're going to pitch to, who are those 200, qualified sources you're going to pitch to get your 5 or 6 investors, and you don't have a network, we're doing it for you at Fusion 42, right here out of Las Vegas. We also had GITEX. Same time I was in Mexico. GITEX is kind of the CES of Dubai for startups. We took a bunch of startups to that, and we had our own Fusion 42 event in Dubai. Derek, the other co-founder, is based out there, and I heard that went really, really well. And so we're super excited to be involved in emerging markets and kick-ass venture ecosystems like Las Vegas.
The important part that you might have missed is the phrase capital ready to deploy.
That's right.
There is capital in Las Vegas and all over. Access to capital is not the issue that a lot of people think it is.
Right.
But you need to do the right things to get yourself prepared to go pitch investors.
Right.
And you can do that by getting involved in Fusion 42, Pitch Kung Fu, all the other things Kurt is doing to help you become a founder who's ready to pitch investors and a founder who's ready to have a successful company so you can become a founder funder later on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Market readiness is 80% of being, raise ready. Most founders want to skip that process of going and collecting hundreds, if not thousands of feedback from the customer, using that to inform what you build. And then once you've got something that's ready to do as an MVP and you're about to go build, that's the time to raise, not before. You won't be successful in raising. Then we'll teach you to be fundraising fluent.
If you haven't asked 100 people, you're not ready yet.
Yeah, minimum. Yeah, absolutely.
Minimum.
Yep.
So, Kurt, always a pleasure. Thanks for joining us today.
Absolutely.
We need to catch up sometime off of the stream.
We should.
Absolutely. Are you ready, Eric? Well, we'll see who comes up, but I always love having you here. So if you didn't hear, you probably didn't get picked up the microphone. Eric said best for last. So I guess if you want Eric to be last, drop a comment.
You still got to see my lecture. That's the thing.
Well, that's the thing. We usually have a couple people who are like, hey, can I still get on? And so I have not been to a Tech Alley talk in 6 months since we started doing this. And that's not a complaint. I love doing this stream. I love getting to talk to all the people we do. So what's been going on, my friend? It's been 48 hours, I think, since I saw you. Not even. So Eric and his partner Lex were generous enough to come to the Small Business Expo and watch my speech on developing leadership and culture in your company and how that can spark the maximum performance
very good
for your company. And I didn't get it on video, but I'm available to give that speech to any organization who wants it. So holla at your boy.
Yes, it was a very good job.
Thank you. So what's been happening with you in the last 48 hours, but more importantly for our audience, what's been happening with you and your companies in the last month?
Oh, in the last SEOs are still all over the place. there's always been a big push for Google Ads because that's kind of the other side of SEO, and that's actually the topic of my lecture today is the difference and similarities of Google Ads and SEO. And it's a very interesting thing because they both are separate but both equal in a lot of things. And I think that if people knew what the differences were, how one is fast, one is slow over time, that, you know, people would be like, well, am I ready for this part or am I ready for this other part? You know, but you could do them both at the same time. It's just that a lot of marketing agencies aren't really talking about both sides of the fence. They sell what they do best.
Tell us why we shouldn't do both at the same time.
So in the very beginning of a business, you should not be doing both at the same time. You need to look at what you need to get done quickly within a month. And with Google Ads, you could actually suffice with awareness campaigns right off the bat to get awareness for business. From that, you can start to develop your customers. You can start to develop more of your funnel. SEO could be done at the very, very beginning before you even go live with a website, but they both have to work in some way separate, in two separate buckets.
Let me jump in a little bit on that. So Eric talked about being at the very beginning of a business. Some of you have businesses that you've been operating on word of mouth, referrals, all that kind of stuff for years, and you're doing really great with that, but you don't have much of a digital presence.
Right.
And that's great, but now you're looking to expand, you're looking to grow, you're looking to scale a little bit, and you're looking to bring that digital presence on because you can only do so much through word of mouth and referrals, right? So when Eric is talking about this, he's talking about the beginning of your business in it with a digital presence.
Right.
So don't misunderstand. You may have been, if you've been running your business for 10 years and you're doing great, but now you're looking to expand into your digital presence. That's what he means by the beginning, right?
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. It's
I mean, you'd tell me if I was wrong.
no, of course I would. I tell you you're wrong all the time.
and he does. Don't worry. He cuts me down to size. He cuts me down a couple pegs on a regular basis.
Oh, we've had God, it's been what, 2.5 years? Maybe even 3.
I have known you guys for 4 years, I think, and
so.
we've been working together formally for 3.5. I think.
Yeah. So there was a lot of growth. I had to grow a lot with what you were doing as I moved into more into SEO.
I'm a challenge. That's the generous way of putting it. I'm challenging. Ask every ex-girlfriend I've ever
There
had.
you go. There you go. You know, in hindsight, being when you're looking to expand a digital business or a business in general, whether you have a brick and mortar or you have an online business, we all know that marketing is what drives sales.
Yep.
It's what drives revenue. It's everything. And the thing is it comes down to a strategy. Don't get me wrong. I love AI. I think it's great, but you know, I'm old school. I think that you got to have an understanding of who you are before you start writing prompts and getting answers that suffice to you as opposed to you building for a customer.
So let's start with step one.
Step 1.
Besides cut a hole in a box. Let's start with step 1. Whether you're starting a new business, you're thinking about starting a business, or you're a business that's looking to grow, scale, and you realize you need that digital presence now beyond the great work you've done over the last 10 years through referrals and word of mouth. What's step 1?
Step 1 is research. It'll always be my number one. You got to know what you want to do, why you want to do it. You got to answer your 5 W's: the who, what, where, when, why. From that, use the internet to find out more about those W's. Who else is there? Why else are they there? When have they been there? Why, you know, a lot of this comes down to more self-inquiry than just relying on make me a business name on ChatGPT.
Right.
That's great, but it doesn't, it's you're cutting yourself short.
And that's what I want to let me pull on that thread a little bit, because we talked about don't just start throwing stuff into ChatGPT or your preferred
AI.
LLM of choice, your preferred AI of choice, whatever you like. We talked about don't just do that, but let's talk about how our audience, how business owners can use AI for that research function. Because honestly, if you're not using AI for research, you are probably spending a lot more time, effort, and frustration than you need to be.
Exactly.
So let's talk about how they can use AI, because we're at Tech Alley. So let's talk about how we use tech to help our businesses. right? And we're both old school. We're the military guys. We're kind of dinosaurs. The human connection matters, all that. But also use the tools you've got. So let's talk about how they can use AI to do that research to help them with step one.
You can use, I would suggest using AI to, first of all, come up with a idea for the name, maybe even research the probable audience for a business. There's a lot of things, and this is what's great about AI. It's ideation, right? It's not execution, right? It will give you great ideas.
Not yet, anyway.
And eventually it will. But for the moment right now, it is about getting ideas. Now, again, I always come back to the fact that AI is written to impress you. You're building a business to impress an audience. That is where the AI splits, because it may be a great idea and you think of it as a great idea, but is it executionable? Is it going to be something that goes to market? Because there might be other people that are using the same AI prompt you're doing or variations of it and getting the same answers. Again, what is it that makes you different? What is the plant that you're growing that's different than the person to the left and right of you?
I think it would be really interesting. I haven't tried this. Maybe I'll try it later today when all of our high quality videos are uploading and that kind of stuff. Maybe I'll try this. I'll go into an AI engine of choice and ask, what makes me different? What do you need to know about me to answer that question, right? That's one of the best tips I ever learned working with AI is you can ask AI. In fact, you should ask AI, ask me any questions you need to ask me to answer my question to the best of your ability. Because I'm going to be honest, some of these hold back a little bit. They don't always give you their best answer right away.
Right.
So
right.
What do you think of that? How could people, like, what makes me different is a hard question for some people to answer.
Yeah.
Walk us down how they can answer that question using AI.
I'll be honest, AI is going to be, the more you give it, the more you get. However, if you're starting a business and you're looking at what is going to make me different as a business, looking at what you personally want this business to do for you, that is probably a better prompt. Because, and again, you got to use the words out of the box, unorthodox. You have to do that because AI is just going to give you the algorithmic regurgitated answer. But if you say, look, the parameters are, I don't want that. I want something that's different. Now you're cooking with something different. Now you are saying, make me different in this realm. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Don't be afraid to tell your AI, no, they didn't get it right.
Right. And exactly, or redo or refine. And again, I love AI. It's a great tool for getting ideas, for inspiring, posts for AI is incredible. Don't get me wrong. That's what AI really should be about. But when you're coming to a business plan, you're coming into an audience, to demographics, to behaviors, you gotta know yourself before you ask a computer.
Yep.
Know thyself. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And that is what sets you up. However, I will always be scrutinizing to it, because the more harder you work for yourself to build this thing, the more you're like, you know what, I know the path and I don't need AI to tell me that right now. This is what I want to do. This is how I want it to be executed.
Excellent.
So, but it's a very interesting, it's a question that I get a lot, and it's a philosophical question because, everyone can pop onto ChatGPT and start a business with 3 or 4 prompts. And it's like, great. You have a business name, you have a business idea, you may even have a business plan that they create you.
Yeah, you don't need to spend hours and hours and hours moving a logo around on a business card layout. Now AI can do that for you, which is the absolute last thing you should be doing when you're looking to start a business. But it's unfortunately what a lot of business owners do first is, what is my business card going to look like? And don't do that.
I think as we move further into the next few years, we're going to start to see who has created their business on AI. There's going to be more of a pattern from the wording of business names and descriptions and what they do. And the ones that actually will sit down with a piece of paper and write out what they want to do are going to set themselves up for a different outcome.
Okay. So when it comes to marketing, branding, SEO, we've talked about the big one, right? Know yourself.
Yep.
What are some other AI don'ts that that you would pass on to our audience?
AI don'ts. I would not use AI for the copy of your homepage. You want to write that yourself. You want, and again, it's convenient, but with an on-page first 5 seconds of your website, you are talking to a person. You are selling with your words. AI is going to do a good job to impress you, but that's not it. You are looking to open a engagement with someone that just showed up to your website. So how do you get them? You can get ideas. But again, you want to write it as if you are talking to them and say, this is the problem. This is my solution. Let's talk. And AI isn't going to get that yet. It's just not going to get it. But hopefully it doesn't.
Right now we're at a phase with AI, and that's why I say don't be afraid to tell it no, it didn't get it right. AI is the ultimate yes man right now. These models, all the commercial ones, all the free ones, they're all built to please you. Right? And I think that's a good thing. But what that means is you don't necessarily get a lot of, if you put your inputs in, it doesn't ever disagree with your inputs. It just tries to make the best of what you've given them, I think is a fair way to put it.
And it's convenient. That's the thing is, when people start making YouTubes and Instagrams about how they've built a business with AI, then AI shoots up in user visits and inquiries by thousands, if not tens of thousands a month. And again, it's still just a digital landscape. What are you different for? You know what I mean? What is it that you are bringing to the table that's different? And that's a hard thing to ask yourself. That's a laying in bed, looking at the ceiling at the night, say, what do I do about this?
It's probably the hardest question an entrepreneur has to ask themselves is what's really different about me? Because a lot of us, and I know myself included when I first started, were really afraid to kind of step out of the vanilla. Like, I don't want to alienate anyone, right? We all go through that. I want to keep people happy. I want as many customers as possible. So I don't want to be too different. I want to be popular, but I don't want to be different, right? And we all know that doesn't work from high school. So what is the coolest thing you have seen AI do since the last time we talked? So the last time we talked on this stream. What's the coolest thing you've gotten it to do? Not just something you heard about.
I've been able to the coolest thing is I've seen it do was I had an issue with social posting for an entire week. I had keywords, I had demographics, I had audience, and I threw it all in there. It was like a 2-page prompt. And I said, just give me ideas. Just fill up 25 different posts. And every single one hit. Every single one was like, that's incredible, that's incredible, that's incredible. That's impressive, right? And even if you throw in the out-of-box prompt and make it unorthodox, it's still really good at giving you good ideas within seconds. Even creating your own GPTs to do specific things that you need answers for. It's incredible. But again, that's good once you've had a business that's up in a while and you know it.
You've got to have a digital presence already that you know is working for you.
Right. So then you can tailor it. And that's the thing about AI too, is the more you use it for growing your business, at least for posting, but don't use the copy because everyone's using copy for their website, you know. But the more that you work with it, the more it tailors to you, that all you got to do is copy, paste photo, copy, paste photo.
Now, when you ask it to create these posts, are you asking it to create the graphics, the captions, what are you asking it to create?
Just the captions, just the copy.
Okay.
Because
I've had good success with that. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
So.
And the hashtags. You want to make sure that you are utilizing, and again, the AI is only going to go off for an algorithm search for the most popular hashtags. That doesn't mean that it's customized to your audience. That's your work. You got to do that.
So, like I see this. I use this for YouTube Shorts.
Right.
I go in and say, hey, check out this video. I didn't know how this would work, but it seems to work pretty good. I give them a link to a video. I don't know how it does it. I imagine it goes through and like reads the captions. Check out this video. Give me a caption for a social media post. Give me depending on which platform I'm doing it for, anywhere between 5 and 10 hashtags for it. Then I see what it gives me. And then I always see, even though I've trained it, there's always a couple hashtags I have to add. Like if it's a tech thing, I always have to add Vegas Tech.
Right.
Because one, as a community, we're trying to grow that hashtag, but B, I want my Vegas Tech, like my Tech Alley peeps, I want this to show up in their feed. Right.
Exactly.
So it's always like, I remember back before the turn of the century when I was an engineering student at Boston University, and we had a professor say, never take your plots right off the printer and walk into a meeting. Always look at your plots and understand what the data is telling you before you go into a meeting, right?
Right.
Same thing with your AI
Yep.
stuff. Always look at it and just ask yourself, does this make sense?
Yep.
And not only does it make sense, do I understand the answer I got based on the question I asked?
Exactly. It's the same thing. Yeah.
So yeah, I have had really good success with saying, hey, create me some captions from this video, or create me some posts from this video.
Yeah.
It's very cool. It's one of the things I found it's kind of consistently good at. So,
Yeah.
For now.
And it'll get better. Don't get me wrong. AI ain't going anywhere anytime soon, and it's still a very, very new thing for us to play around with.
Yep.
It's just if you're doing something serious like building a business, look at yourself first. Look at what
so let's get back to the SEO stuff, because I took us down this AI rabbit hole.
It's okay.
But I know you love talking about it, so I don't feel bad.
It's a major component of marketing, and yet some agencies rely on it, others don't. I'm more old school. I think that you can create copy for your posts, copy with the assistance, but you can reword it. You can make it more personal, because I'll be honest, Google rewards human interaction. They reward human talk to humans. They are literally hunting down AI generated content as we speak. They don't want it on their search engine. But that's
they should probably not have their own AI then.
Exactly.
But, look, Google, I'm not telling you what to do, but if you don't like people generating stuff on your platforms and in your search, and showing up in your search with AI, maybe don't have an AI.
It's true. Yeah, no, it's true. And
I'm hoping that hot take will get clipped out, and some really angry Google people will watch this over and over again and share it and say, what a jackass this guy is. So
no, and
share this.
There's that's one of the big difference with Google Ads and SEO, is that Google Ads does rely.
That might actually get picked up on the microphone.
I know that probably will.
Like most of the stuff doesn't. These are very, very sensitive microphones. But go ahead.
Google Ads does really push for people to use AI to create the copy for their ads, and that's right. I mean, it's good for someone to come in and just say, just have AI do all my copy for my ads. Okay, that doesn't necessarily work in the SEO world, because SEO is a longer journey, right? It's a turtle.
Absolutely.
It takes time. We've had our discussions.
Oh, we've been working on this for my company for 3-ish years.
Yep.
And it's been a great journey, but we are not only have we been working on this long, we are always working on it. It's always, what do we do? What's new this month? What's worked? What are we sticking with? What isn't working? What are we throwing out? What new things are we going to do to replace that?
Yeah. And it's being reliant on it helps to keep you happy. You know what I mean? It satisfies that that AI is working for you. So, and again, both of them are relied on keyword research too, knowing how to find the right words that get the most audience for the lowest competition. And that is what AI is not really doing, right? They're not looking at the longer tail keywords for Las Vegas business or something specific. They're just throwing you what is popular and what's expensive to purchase for a click, right? So there's a lot of moving parts with it, but it's pretty impressive, and it's certainly not taking my job away. It's actually making me way more efficient.
Well, that's I talk to people at AI all the time, whether it's on this stream or other podcasts. We just had on my other podcast, we had the founder of an AI company who's also the VP of another AI company, and the general and just like with the robotics stuff, because I've talked to a bunch of robotics people lately. No one's looking to get these things to take your job. We're looking to free you up to do things humans are good at and better at than robots or AI are.
Right.
And that's the reality, right? What Aoife, who we just interviewed on the Leader's Mindset on Thursday, her quote, what we opened the episode with the cold open with is, AI is not going to take your job. Someone who knows how to use AI is going to take your job. That's really the likely scenario. Now, what happens in 10 years, 15 years, 20 years? I mean, I think we're looking at a very different climate for business and the future of work. But in the short term, AI is not going to take your job. Someone who knows how to use AI is going to take your job. So,
I agree.
but I
with that.
want to go back to SEO because I keep pulling us down this rabbit hole. So we talked about it being a long journey versus, so what are you going to talk about in the talk today?
So the topic is Google Ads versus SEO, the similarities and differences out of them, how depending on where your business is at, there is Google ad campaigns that will actually help you, but both of them derive from keyword research. If you don't know how to look for the keywords or how to read a SERP, the search engine results page, you're not going to know the landscape that your business is focused in, right? Google Ads ends when they click on the ad. On-page SEO starts when they get to the homepage. So that's one of the big things is, you could have $1,000, $10,000 budget for Google Ads, but if they come to your homepage and there's spelling errors or there's negative space or there's a movie that rolls and it's slow, you're going to lose them. You're going to lose them, and the data will show within a month.
Yep. So if your Google ads or other ads are working great, but your website is not converting to sales, we're not going to talk about it here. You got to come down and see Eric talk down at Tech Alley, or you got to reach out and holler at your boy Eric, and he could talk about it with you. And I'm sure he'll talk about it all day with you.
Yes.
So, but your talk is coming up pretty quick here.
Yep.
So 2:30, 2:40,
something.
two something. So if you love what Eric has to say, and you want to know more about what might be going on, if your ads are converting great, but they're not converting to sales once you get to the website, you got to come down and see Eric's talk today, or you got to reach out to Eric. So get on down here to Tech Alley. We're at the corner of Charleston and Main in downtown Las Vegas. If you don't live in Las Vegas, if you're not in Las Vegas today, I can't really help you out. Eric can't really help you out today, but the third Saturday of every month is Tech Alley, and Eric is here talking about these kinds of things every third Saturday of the month at Tech Alley. So if you're not in Vegas today, but you're going to be in Vegas in the future, be here downtown at Taverna Costera on the third Saturday every month. Get to know Eric. And if you can't make it to Las Vegas, or you just don't want to for some weird reason, I don't know why you wouldn't, how can people reach out to you?
So you can go to my website, SEOexpertlasvegas.com. I'm on all the socials as SEO Expert Las Vegas. There's a lot that I can talk about. There's a lot that I can help with pretty much any business that needs help, at least with strategy and moving forward, marketing, sales, stuff like that.
All right. Fantastic. Well, good luck with the talk.
All right. Thank you very much.
We'll see you.
All right.
All right. Rosalie, come on down. Yeah. I do okay sometimes.
Yeah, good for you.
Aren't you hot wearing that?
I'm not.
I've been sitting in this. The sun has kind of come this way.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
Like I started with a jacket this morning too, and I had to get rid of it after about the first guest. So what is going on? You always have so many cool things going on. What's
right? I guess
what's happening?
What's happening when I have dirty glasses and I need to wear them because it's too bright. So.
Yeah, it is definitely getting bright out here today.
So what's going on? So I'll tell you the best case scenario. No,
Okay.
the worst case scenario.
Okay.
Let's start with the worst case scenario. So what the worst case scenario is that I'm wrong in what I have a document that I watched or I saw looked at that shows that we have access to millions of acreage for some regenerative development. So that's the worst case scenarios that I'm wrong about it. But the back end of it is that we can scale regenerative community that actually proves that we could be microgrids, and we have the data to prove it. And we're putting together that's the worst case scenario.
Okay.
I mean, so for a worst case scenario, and I actually can show the viability of that. It's not just pie in the sky or a hippie way of saying it, but we actually have a viable business model that shows that we have access to this land due to the way it was incorporated, and we'll go into it a little bit at another time, and that we have access to $1.5 billion that will show that the water issue is going to cost us about $1 billion to fix.
Okay.
But it will return its investment within 3 years. So that's
Okay.
a pretty good investment.
numbers.
Yeah, good numbers. So better than 5, but 3
Better
is
than
pretty,
5, not as good as 1, but hey,
but
three,
return.
a lot of investors
Yeah.
would love to see an
Yeah.
actual return in 3 years
in
instead
3
of
years.
7 to 10.
Yeah,
so.
for sure. And it solves a water and a power
Okay.
issue.
So let's go back to the beginning for the folks who are just tuning in.
Yeah.
Regenerative communities.
Yeah.
What are they?
They repair damage. So regenerative, by the definition, means repair damage. So you are looking at a problem, about 10% of the problem, and then you're spending 90% of your focus on the solution. And you use raw, honest data, not skewed bias data, but raw, honest data. And you first of all, you start with a virtual feasibility, because when you do it in a virtual way, you save yourself about 96% of a mistake. And then you do it in a little alpha test, which means, people that are like-minded get together and so they kind of have a common goal. So it's a little skewed, but you're starting with, a commonality, which
you got to start somewhere.
It's an
And
easier lift. Yeah.
If you're going to start a project, you may as well start it with people who believe in it, not people who don't believe
There
in it.
you go.
Right?
Yeah. High five up on top.
So, repairing damage.
Yeah.
What's the damage we're
So
trying
we're
to
looking
repair
at the
here?
economics, the environment, and then emotional intelligence.
Okay.
So those are the 3 E's that we're
Okay.
working on. And we're starting with entertaining. So we start off with entertaining education. We're offering entertaining education. We're putting music and awareness symposiums together.
Okay.
Where there's a musician, and then in between we have panels of people talking about the solution. They identify the problem they're solving, and then they talk about the solution.
So a little South by Southwesty.
Yeah,
sounds like.
inside of each other, though.
Yep.
So it's that you show up, but it's all audience participation,
Yep.
talking with the panel, asking questions. Next musician, then that panel talking about questions with the audience. It's not just somebody sitting up there listening to a bunch of people talk. They're actually asking questions, and they're getting real viable answers. So
Yeah, very cool.
yeah, and being held accountable.
Very
for 'em.
cool. So, environment, economy, emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
Are we trying to do all 3 of these things at once? Are we
Yeah.
starting with one? What are we
Yeah,
doing?
and then and I don't know whether to add another one to it.
I think you're doing plenty.
Yeah, I think so too. But governance, so it makes this a
That's
lot
not an E.
easier. I know.
You got to
I
find
know.
the E synonym.
So the E may be something like
or you've got to go find G synonyms for your other 3.
or how about if we just say governance is part of emotional intelligence?
Or we just
here's
just dump the whole E thing and create a different
We
construct
could whatever
around it.
you want to do. We're actually naming as we go.
Yeah.
We're a collaborative alliance. So,
Okay.
So Regenerative is a nonprofit. That's Regenerative, and we also have a local Sparks, which is a
Yep.
development corporation. The development corporation does business and real estate development, but they're careful about what they scale to make sure that they have solutions. I believe that you can solve a real big problem if everyone that's in the leadership positions that are making decisions for other people have a real track record of solving problems that have data to back that they actually are good at making decisions that benefit the many and not the few. So if we no longer had people on our names on our ballot, and the only way we had names on our ballot is when you show your abilities to actually make good decisions and they scale and they profit and they are successful, then what if all the people that were on our ballot were like the cream of the crop, and the only ones that we could vote for were the ones that actually showed a track record? So
Well, I think we'd all love that, but that's
Yeah.
probably not happening anytime soon. So my question now
no,
is
it can happen
my question
in
my
2
question
years.
now is how
I'll
do
tell you
how do you get the folks who are in decision making? What are you doing to bring in the folks who are in decision making capacities,
start-
whether that's elected or
Yeah, in
civil service?
business,
How are
yeah.
you bringing them into the
Yeah.
fold of what you're doing?
So we're going to them first, because you always want your leaders in a position to be the heroes, not the enemy, right? So you
and,
go to
and
them.
we need to go to the decision makers.
You do. We go right to the decisions makers and we let them know. I mean, I've reached out to the governor, the lieutenant governor, the sheriff, the water authority, Southern Nevada Water Authorities, UNLV. I mean, I can list. So I'm not trying.
It's a
yeah.
big list. The
Yeah.
point is
Yeah.
point is she's doing the work to reach out to these people.
Yeah, and it's nonpartisan. So let me just say, I have reached out to one of the highest people I know in the Democrat Party, and I also have reached out to the highest person I know in the Republican Party. So it's nonpartisan. This is everyone's included, and we're going to those people to say, listen, we have a solution, and what we need is for your help to first of all, assess. Help us. We want to show you that what we're talking about makes sense to us, and let us show you how we have that assessment. So we're not just telling them, we came up with this brilliant idea. What do you think? No, we're showing them the data so they can see actually how are we assessing the solution. Then once we assess the solution and we show them how we assess the solution, and it makes sense to do this, then what we're asking for some help, whether it's regulation or funding or land or whatever it may be. I mean, we don't really need the land, but that we want them to be part of the solution. So we want them to get the influence. Let's just call it their influence. Okay, that makes it easy.
Okay.
So we want them to use their influence to help us do little alpha tests. So then that's when we do these little alpha tests.
Okay.
And then we showcase the data from those that shows that what we said we were going to do, we did. And then all the collaborators that work together to get it done are paid on the back end.
So you've done a couple of these alpha tests already.
We have.
So tell us
Yeah.
about the most recent one and what the results were.
Well, the most recent one was the ones where we help veterans grow and produce their own and sell their food. And we also helped people that were in prison get jobs, and we're actually now working on the road. And we also helped build affordable housing where they could actually 3D print a home with non-toxic commercial waste. So we've done an alpha test showing that those things make economic, environmental, and emotional intelligence, all three of them.
Just to sum it up, there in these alpha tests that you do, there's a people piece of it, there's a technology piece of
Yes.
it, there's a societal benefit goal.
Yeah.
And in your most recent one, you've shown we can do the housing piece for veterans or for folks who are coming out of incarceration and trying to get back on their feet. We've shown we can get them jobs. We've shown there was a whole tech piece about the actual growing of the food.
Yeah.
You've done all that with your most recent alpha test. So these are a lot of time. I spent 20 years in the Air Force, spent a lot of time working with the government. There's a lot of people who will say, if you haven't solved the whole problem, we're not interested in the piece of the problem that you can solve, right?
Yeah.
And it's an excuse. Don't get me wrong. It's an
Right.
excuse. People
Yeah.
just don't want to deal with people.
Yeah.
And so they make an excuse of, well, if you haven't solved the whole problem,
We have
I
solved
don't
the
want to
whole
hear from you.
problem.
When you do these alpha tests, you're trying to solve as many pieces of the problems as
A
you
lot
can.
of problems, yeah.
So
Yeah.
what's your next alpha test coming up?
Well, we got access to some documents that show that we, by right, have the access to this land. So the first thing we want to do is, and I've reached out, I'm working with UNLV, CSN, Nevada State University, UNR, the Clark County School District. Clark County School District, you have to be careful because you're talking about children and youth. So they have to have a different parameter there
Yeah,
because
you'll figure it out, though.
but we're working with the school, let's just say educators, so that them and their families can come together, and we're going to start having these educational music and awareness symposiums. So we're going to start putting on these events where people are coming together. We are tonight, we're meeting out at my house to discuss the next event, which is going to be the day after Thanksgiving in Henderson. And I can get you more information. It's going to be right after Tech Alley. I think we're still having it next November. I mean, that's on Thursday.
Tech
So
Alley-
it'll be
yeah,
right before Tech
I mean,
Alley.
as far as I know, Tech Alley's going on for forever.
Yeah.
So there's no plans
Saturday,
to stop.
So Saturday after Thanksgiving, come to Tech Alley, and then we're going to head over to Henderson for a little event there, and we will be talking about this, about what our next steps are, and this land that we have access to, and then we're going to scale a virtual reality from there, and we've been talking. The people I've been working with are working with the Sphere to do an actual virtual reality in that big dome right there so that people can actually see the land that we have. It's an open slate and say, what would we build here and how would it be different? So the main thing is our governing system. If everybody, we knew that the elected officials that we had a good track record, it'd be a lot easier to get a lot of things done in a fell swoop and an easy lift, especially if it's nonpartisan. So that's what we're doing, and I would love for people to get more involved in that. So we'll see you at Tech Alley, and then the Saturday in the evening, and the next day we're doing it Sunday. So it's Saturday and Sunday. We will be doing it in November.
Okay.
We'll be during the night, one part, so bundle up. We'll have s'mores out there. It's going to be kind of fun. And then the next day, we're going to have a revitalization. There's going to be music edification. It's going to be G-rated. It will be edification and having some music and panels talking about this solution. That's my little puppy over there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw you come in with a
Oh, yeah,
puppy, and I didn't see the
She
puppy anymore,
likes-
but I heard
yeah,
it.
Bitsy, be quiet. Anyway. So we're doing some really cool things, and I'm excited to get
it
involved.
sounds really cool.
in
I
what
think
you're doing.
I think the idea of partnering with the Sphere on trying to visualize some of this stuff. I think the Sphere is an amazing venue for doing that. It's so immersive that you can really show people instead of tell people what the end result will be.
Right.
I think that's really amazing. And the bonus is you can choose pieces of that to show the world on the outside of the Sphere too.
Yeah.
And I think
So
that's
it's
really
augmented.
cool.
So it's an XR, which we will be doing virtual and augmented. So
Yep.
we're actually putting QR codes in the spaces that are blank that we'll be designing on, so people can go there and they can see what people have uploaded and designed to put on that space. So you could actually stand on a blank piece of land and hold your phone up, look at the QR code, and then you would know, oh, that looks good. What would that view look like? And you can actually see what that view would look like. And so this is a well thought out plan. And it's
sounds
really
like
the
it.
main thing. And I'm not a negative Nelly on this back end, but I am hearing, and I don't like to hear this word, but I hear there's actually a third world war that we're involved, that's happening as we speak. I don't really like to hear that. I don't want that to happen. And my main thing is let's get our heads wrapped around that. If we come together as global movement of the people, we start in our sovereign states and then in our sovereign nations, and we start coming together and collaborating on these global but local issues, we can circumvent a civil war by, my main thing is one thing is we should say, unless a president or a leader has from here on out, we're only maybe we could do a treaty that the only people that will go to war is when a leader of that nation puts their children and their grandchildren on the front line. And when they do that, then it must be that important that the rest of us follow. But until that, maybe there should be a treaty that nobody goes to war anymore, including terrorists as well, right? I guess I would have to say that unless you're willing to just put stuff on your kids. I don't know. I just can't quite figure why we're in Third World War, why there's even, I mean, we're a human race. I can't believe that we're in this position and that we have leadership that are pulling us into wars and that have not figured out how to circumvent them and conflict resolve them. I mean, even rock, paper, scissors would be better than going to war. And I just can't believe it. So we are scaling these societies that will not have war. They will have peace and everybody. There's no need for free lunch there. There's no need for free lunch because who couldn't donate 4 hours a week to help towards your community service? If you can't, we want to know why, and maybe we can help you with that. But yeah, it's a big concept.
Well, it sounds like you're taking the steps we need to take to get going in that direction.
The leaps.
So,
We are not just stepping; we are leaping out the door.
So
So,
if-
a lot
if
of it's been done.
if someone wants to leap along with you, how can they connect with you?
Go to regenerative.com, REGENER8, the infinity symbol TIVE. .com, put your name in there, book a discovery call. We'll have someone reach out to you and see what kind of industry are you in, what are you willing to provide as a service, and we're going to start showing how, because Regenerative is the nonprofit, so you can donate and we can give you a slip so you can write it off on your taxes. So it's donated, but you're actually getting paid to do it, from your taxes. And let's start showing a regenerative way opposed to a third world war.
All right.
Yeah, big deal.
Well, thanks for joining us today. We're going to take a little bit of a break, but yeah, thanks for joining us. Come back out in November. Come to Tech Alley in November, third Saturday of the month, and come join Rosalie's events
In Henderson.
in Henderson in November.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks. Stick around for a few minutes. We're going to take a little bit of a break, and we will be back.
Bye.
No,
dinner.
no worries. Dave Berlin, how the heck are you?
Hey, man. I feel like fall finally got all of our text messages. It was like yesterday woke up and it was like 40 degrees. It's like fall.
I don't think I've ever been so happy for it to be cold in my life.
Fall. It's like, hey, I got your messages. And like all of a sudden, all
Oh, sorry, man. I've
hey, I
been
just saw your message.
I've been in meetings all summer. I had no idea. I
Yeah,
had no
right?
idea you guys wanted me back so badly. Yeah. For those of you watching, it's not 1,000 degrees here
Yeah.
today. I know we were a little better last month. I think we were like 95.
Right.
So it wasn't 1,000 degrees last time, but this is like, for those of you who can't see, because you can't see the camera because you're looking through it, like we don't have an ice pack on it this month.
Yeah.
We don't have an
Yeah.
ice pack on our internet. We don't.
Yeah.
Like I'm hoping this computer is going to hang in there. It's getting kind of warm, but
Yeah.
yo, man, tell me about GEW. Give me the update. Give me the Vets and Tech update.
Yeah.
I've been waiting all day. We were going to try to bring Dave's talk live to you, and we just didn't get the tech set up before he gave his talk. So,
No.
so we'll try to do that in the future. But yeah, give us the update. GEW, Vets and Tech,
Yeah.
Y Networking.
Here we
everything that's
are.
going on.
Here we are. We're 30 days out. 30 days out from Global Entrepreneurship Week, and it is here. We've really gotten hyper focused this year, and very much in this last sprint. So there's actually a lot of things that are going to be happening. And for those of you that don't know, for those of you just tuning in, Global Entrepreneurship Week is going to happen November 18th through the 24th. It is 10,000 events all around the world, all the same week in November. It just so happens to be this year, it's the same week as F1, not by design at our fault. It's actually, it's happening in so many other communities.
Let's not even
where
worry about
that's-
whose fault it is.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the opportunity that
Yeah.
comes with having Global Entrepreneurship Week the same week as F1.
Yeah,
here in
the
Las Vegas.
opportunity is great because
And
Vegas
some
is
other
on
cool
fire.
events that
Yeah.
Vegas has decided to do the same week, right?
Yeah.
Downtown
The
has a whole
city-
thing they're doing.
What is it? Neon Lights Festival.
Neon
I
Lights
think?
Festival, yeah.
We've got Corner Bar. They're going to be doing some stuff that's kind of a separate activation there. But no, this year we're really excited. We're already starting to get more events on the calendar. I think we're at like 20 events on the calendar.
You can count
which-
me in for one. I just
Yeah.
need to get my act together and find a venue and put it together.
There it is. So we'll get you on the calendar. And honestly, kind of had this aha moment this year. Global Entrepreneurship Network does a really good job of kind of doing this big impact report and seeing all the different types of entrepreneurs that benefit from being part of Global Entrepreneurship Week. So it's funny because back when I first started having these conversations 2-3 years ago, people would be like, oh, send me more information. Well, Global Entrepreneurship Network has these really good audience guides, and they're about 10-page reports of like how to get involved, why it's specific for these different audiences. And I will read it off because I don't want to miss anybody.
Yeah, I want you to read off the audiences, and after you read off the list, here in Las Vegas, we've got some good representation from some of the audiences. Let's talk about who we'd like to get representation from, who we'd like to connect with for GEW, because there are some of those audiences that you and I and some of the folks on the team don't have good connections with.
No, you're right. And with that, we do have a few, the way the structure is right now, I'm the state coordinator. We have a few community organizers. We have Elias Benjaloon in North Las Vegas. We have Nadia and Lauren in Las Vegas, Nadia Russo and Lauren Jones.
Yep.
We also have Ben Leifsky and Henderson. And now our newest addition is Lourdes Madrigal with the Veteran Business Outreach Center up in Reno. So we've got the state covered for these volunteer community organizers.
So we've got the state covered. We've got City of Las Vegas.
Yep.
We've got Henderson.
Yep.
We've kind of got Clark County-ish.
And then
what we
Reno,
don't, and we have Reno, which is great. What we don't have is North Las Vegas.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Oh, we do.
Elias is North Las Vegas.
Elias
Yep.
is North Las
Yep.
Vegas. Okay, but we don't have like Mesquite.
Yeah,
We don't have like Searchlight.
So
we don't have Ely, and we know there's entrepreneurship going on in these communities.
Yeah, so we're working with the governor's office to work on some of the rural entrepreneurs. I can't physically go down and chase all of those people because I don't even know where they are. or if they even care. So what we have right now is the Governor's Office of Economic Development is kind of rounding up all the rural entrepreneurs and figuring out where we can spend our best time. So we've got the geographic parts covered. Here's where we're looking for the very specific audiences. And all this comes from a big global impact report. They do a big study to figure out who benefits the most. But
And they can find that at gew.org, right?
yeah, gew.co is going to be where you find the global impact report. And then on the local level, if you go to gewnevada.com, you're going to find more of the local stuff that we've got going on. But here's the list of these very specific audiences. And now, as we've got the right community organizers in play, now we want to build this this committee / coalition with somebody at the top of each one of these categories that can kind of help expand that network. So we've got Encore Entrepreneurs, which Encore Entrepreneurs are going to be people that have retired from their normal career and maybe they're seeking entrepreneurship post-retirement. So that's an Encore Entrepreneur. Military and veteran entrepreneurs like myself, like yourself.
Yep, I think we got that one covered, but that doesn't mean we don't. That doesn't mean we don't want you on the team.
Yep.
If you're interested, holla at your boys.
If you're interested and you want more information, I got a 10-page PDF to tell you what's going on.
Or just reach out and we can talk to you.
Yep.
We won't make you read stuff.
We've got the chambers of commerce. So we've got Vegas Chamber, Henderson Chamber, Latin Chamber. We've got the Asian American Pacific Islander Chamber involved. So chambers of commerce. We talked about rural entrepreneurs. We're also looking for colleges and universities. So a lot of the different colleges, universities, even the what's it called? The community colleges all have some type of entrepreneurship program. So we want to be able to connect with them and make sure that we're able to amplify that Global Entrepreneurship Week is even happening.
So if you're a student or faculty at College of Southern Nevada, UNLV, UNR, Nevada State College, some of the other medical schools we've got here.
Yep.
If you're interested in entrepreneurship or want to be part of this, reach out to us. We'll get you involved.
Yep. We've also got policymakers and policy advocates. So a lot of the policies that go on really do affect entrepreneurship at a greater scale. So if you know anybody that's involved in policy for economic development, those are great connections as well.
And that doesn't just mean government. That just doesn't mean government organizations, nonprofits who are interested in policy or have policies they want to advance, right? So, if you are interested in policy and advancing policy, you don't need to be a government person to do this. We're looking for people who are looking to advance policy in all areas, especially entrepreneurship.
Absolutely. We also have a lot of the different demographics. We've got Black entrepreneurs, Latin entrepreneurs, Asian entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs, LGBTQ entrepreneurs, and then even investors and makers as well. So makers being people that build things, right? Yep. So those are just a few of the categories. And to really be honest, if we were able to get one person to kind of stand up for each one of those communities and really get engaged with Global Entrepreneurship Network, then they help 3 or 4 events happen. And then those people get involved. And then it's, I didn't know Global Entrepreneurship Week is a thing. And then slowly this starts to kind of catch on like wildfire. And we go from literally having 20 events on the calendar to having 50 or 60 events on the calendar. And really, it's not to reinvent the wheel. We're not trying to recreate this whole series. We're not trying to compete against the other events and stuff like that are going on. We're just trying to show up, put dates on those calendars and be present for our community so we can do what I've always said, right? Connect the people of our city and our state and show the world who we really are.
Yeah, and so you read off a whole list of audiences and communities we're trying to connect with. If you are an entrepreneur and you didn't hear a community that represents you on that list, we still want you to participate. Reach out to us. We will get you involved and we will get your community involved.
Yep.
So.
www.gewnevada.com.
All right. What else? What else do you want to talk about?
Everything else is really good. I mean, we've got Vets in Tech, I think, is really getting anchored in the community here. It's a really busy season for them because we've got the gala coming up in November, which a lot of people are still learning about what Vets in Tech is for Las Vegas and what it means for the state of Nevada. But in Silicon Valley, where it was born and raised, it's like
They know.
You know, they know, and they're getting excited because this is their big annual gala.
Yeah,
So we'll be
and
going
we're going.
for that. Yep,
We're
and,
going.
And the other part too is that Global Entrepreneurship Network and Vets in Tech have officially partnered.
That's right.
So we will be really pushing a lot of stuff through the military veteran entrepreneur space. And you and I are.
We met some
we've got a
amazing
front row
folks
ticket
today
for
and
that.
had them on the stream who are going to be great folks to help
Love
us
it.
advance the ball with Vets in Tech. From a one especially who is running an IT company and all excited about providing internships and jobs pipeline, not just for vets in general into the tech community, but we met some amazing folks today.
I love that.
We've really got some opportunities to push the ball forward with Vets in Tech.
I love that.
I know you got to head out. You're back to
I
another
do.
thing, but we will reconnect soon.
I love it, man.
All right.
High fives.
All right. We're going to take another quick break. I think we have one more person who we might want to get in the stream. So before we sign off, give me just a few minutes and hang in there with us, folks. Don't go away. We got Ramon. It's his first time on a podcast. And is this your first time at Tech Alley?
So I was doing I've been working with Startup NV for the last 2 years. And so I'm learning a lot, man. It's amazing. You know, it's amazing to be here as a photographer, also, you know, doing these events, but getting to learn and capturing these moments.
Yeah. How did you get connected up with Startup NV?
So Startup NV got connected with me. My information was on a platform called Thumbtack.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so I had, they seen my good reviews, my work, and then they reached out, and man, we've built a real relationship.
That's
you know
great.
what I mean? So
That's great. They're a great
I mean,
organization. I've been
yes.
helping out with mentoring the startup founders with them for a while. so,
Really? Okay, what got you into what do you do?
My story is a long one. So I'm an entrepreneur. I have a business. My business is I do leadership and strategy training for businesses.
Oh,
so for
okay.
leaders in businesses, corporate training, new managers, that kind of stuff.
Uh-huh.
When I started that business, I was getting out of the Air Force, and I know how we teach leadership and how we do leadership in the Air Force.
Mhm.
And I wanted to learn about what's being taught in business school
Right.
about leadership and management. So I did my MBA at UNLV.
Okay.
So I did that. I found out there's not really a lot of nuts and bolts leadership being taught in business school. There's
Correct.
kind of some big picture stuff, but not a lot of like, how do you do stuff,
Mhm.
which is great for me because that's what I teach.
Right.
But as a side thing, I got involved with a group at UNLV called Rebel Venture Fund.
Oh, okay.
And Rebel Venture Fund is a student-led angel investing fund at UNLV.
Yeah, I met them.
Yeah, they're fantastic. It's still going strong. Great people. So a couple of investors donated money to the university about a little more than 10 years ago. They donated
Okay.
$500,000.
Oh,
There's been some more
wow.
donations then. And the students go through. The students decide which companies they want to see pitch,
Yeah.
which companies they want to invest in. There's a board of investors that the students have to go get approval from.
Yeah.
But the students are the ones doing the investing. They're the ones making the decisions on what to invest in.
That's
So
amazing, man.
it was a fantastic experience, and I got connected. So I graduated, and of course, once I graduated, I couldn't be in Rebel Venture Fund anymore.
Correct.
But shortly after COVID and the pandemic, I ran into one of the other students who I was in Rebel Venture Fund with, and they were working for Startup NV and said, "Hey, we always need people to give feedback on pitch decks and to be mentors to the founders, to give feedback and do that kind of thing to help them be ready for investment." So I
right.
started doing that a couple of years ago. So
Oh man, that's
Yeah.
amazing. And where are you originally from?
I grew up in Connecticut.
Oh, okay.
So-
how long you been in Vegas?
This time, almost 10 years.
Oh,
So I was stationed here in the Air Force from 02 to 07, and then went off and did a bunch of Air Force assignments. Then when I got out in 2015, I moved back here.
Man, that's amazing. What would you say is the most profound experience just being around all things business with Startup NV, funding, investing, things of that nature?
What I have learned is the most important thing, especially when it comes to tech, investing, entrepreneurship, is community. There's a lot of folks, there are still not as much as it used to be. There's a lot of folks trying to go it on their own here in
Right.
Vegas.
Yeah,
It's
I
kind
made
of a
that
Vegas
mistake.
thing.
Yes,
right?
it is.
A lot of folks are trying to go it on their own. Don't need anybody else, and they're just going to go. They're just gas pedal down, trying to go it on their own. And when we all start being part of community, supporting each other, what you put in is what you get out of it.
Right,
And
correct.
that idea of community is what really helps us succeed as individuals as well. So,
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, man, thank you for talking to me.
my pleasure. Thank you for talking to us. So good luck.
Absolutely.
How can everybody reach you if they're looking for a photographer?
You can reach me at lcmstudioevents.com.
Okay.
Right. And at LCM Studios LV on Instagram.
All right.
Right. And, come to me. I'm the best event photographer in Las Vegas.
All right. Well, you heard it here. If you need an event photographer, don't mess around with anyone else.
Right. Ramon Singletary.
Jump right to the best. All right, Ramon, thanks
Thank
for
you,
joining
man.
us today.
Appreciate you, brother.
And thank you all for joining us today. It's been a fantastic day here at Tech Alley. I know we got a little bit of a slow start this morning, but that's just part of the fun of doing a live stream in the great outdoors in Las Vegas. So we had a blast today with all of our guests. I'm not even going to try to remember everyone we talked to. We've got a bunch of notes. We've got a bunch of folks to reconnect with. Again, thank you for joining us. Your support means the world to us. If you found any of this useful today, please like it, please comment, please share this stream out to someone you think you can use it. Tech Alley's happening here in downtown Las Vegas every third Saturday of the month. We're centered around Taverna Costera. They're the sponsors, the main sponsors for the food, the water, the coffee. They let us stream live from their roof deck every month. It's always fantastic. They're always such a great help to us. We're down here in the middle of the Arts District, the corner of Charleston and Main. If you're in Las Vegas and you're interested in tech, if you're interested in AI, if you're interested in startups, entrepreneurship, drones, software, hardware, whatever it is having to do with tech or entrepreneurship, get down here the third Saturday of every month. The next one will be the third Saturday of November. We're here every third Saturday of the month. I hope you guys found this useful. I had a blast today. We'd love to see you down here. If you're coming to Las Vegas, plan your trip around the third Saturday of the month. Come down and see us at Tech Alley. Thanks to Josh Levitt. Thanks to James Roop. Thanks to Taverna Costera. Thanks to everybody who makes this live stream and Tech Alley possible. Keep watching. Keep developing your leader's mindset. Onward and upward.